Welcome everyone to what is going to be a bit of a pre-stream Q&A to the Coaster Time 28 2000 subscriber live stream. So this will be a pre-stream Q&A. Just wanted to start off a little early just so those notifications get going to people and so people know to be here by 7 because that's when we're going to really start. My Coaster Time intro, which I usually do the past few streams, it's been having issues. I haven't found a way to fix it. So just going to be doing some pre-stream Q&A. This might be the way I go just because there's been a lot of issues within the last few times I've tried to do it. So if you guys like this pre-stream Q&A, then let me know. I might just go with that for the future. But looking into chat, Jacob Ellis, Imperial Coaster, JB Thrills, hello. Got a really good episode here today. A little bit tired because I did do something which I'll mention in the upcoming news segment. But should still be a great stream. And obviously 2,000 subscribers special. There's an electric car making a noise outside. And so if you heard that, that's what that is. Yeah, so any questions you have, like I said, pre-stream Q&A, we'll go right into it. Maybe a little after 7 p.m. Eastern time, just because I got going a little later too than I wanted for the pre-stream Q&A. So yeah, let's see. The Skyrocket 2 has been seen testing. That's great. I was not aware of that, so that did not make the news. But I'll probably. But thanks for mentioning that. I'll try to keep that in mind because I did miss that. There were a few things that came in last second that I couldn't quite put in, but I'll mention them toward the end. And then I see Christian Hunter in the chat. Thank you so much for the 2K. Congratulations. It's great to have it happen. It did happen about 2 months ago, so this stream is a little late, but it's great to finally get here. So thank you so much, everyone who has supported me. And especially you two, because you were guests and great guests multiple times. So, yeah. And then thank you, JB Thrills and Imperial Coaster and Insane Coaster Junkie in the chat. How are you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you in here. But thank you so much. Yeah, I'll talk about the Blue Streak situation. That's one of 2 incidents that are the information. It's pretty weird. But we'll see what happens. Let's see. Any clue when Bombay Express might open? I literally talked to, and I'll talk about this a little more when I go into the news. I literally talked to Tyler Mullins yesterday. He's one of the design engineers for Skyline Attractions, and they do work for GCI, so he was involved with that project. He wasn't aware, or he didn't tell me of an opening date. I've heard February of next year is the rumored time, so we'll see if that happens, but I wouldn't have any clue. So, and like I said, I literally talked to someone who, if anyone was going to know about it outside of the park, it would have been him. So, yeah, let's see. Now that Joe's on the hunt, there you go. If you want you three to return to Coaster Time whenever you want. Yeah, I think that's something I'm going to be looking into. Probably will let you guys start up, get that going. But certainly that's something that I think could happen. I think, yeah, we'll probably do that a little bit down the line. But yeah, I'm excited for season 3 of On the Hunt. Crazy that you're already there. But that's awesome. Let's see. It's 3:59. Probably a few more minutes of pre-stream Q&A. Just see where everyone's at too. Head off to Spain tomorrow. Congratulations. That's going to be... did I say February 2023? I meant February of 2022 for the Bombay Express. But congratulations on going to Spain. That's going to be awesome. Hope you have a great time over there. And that's a big trip. Well, I guess you're not necessarily going for a trip, but for your study thing, was it? Yeah, that's a pretty big deal, obviously. When will Michigan's Adventure get a new coaster? Like maybe in 11 years. I have no idea. Probably not anytime soon. Planning to go on any trips during the 2022 season? So I'll take in a few more questions here before I really get started. Let's see. I don't have any like specific trips truly planned, but there are possibilities. So I am going to Six Flags Magic Mountain probably multiple times. I already have a Six Flags season pass, so I'm gonna be going there. Probably ride Wonder Woman. That may be my 100th. We'll see. I'm hoping a different coaster is my 100th, but it's looking like the construction won't be done by the time I'm going there. So, or by the time I would theoretically go there with Air Force One. So. We'll see about that. But Atlanta is also a possibility. I have family there, and I haven't been to over Georgia yet, so that could happen. Obviously, Air Force One being open by then would be awesome. Even if it's not, that's certainly still a possibility, and I will go back at some point. So it's not a deal breaker if I go before. And I probably will go to Discovery Kingdom again. I think those three are confirmed, not Scary Farm, or not confirmed, but the Magic Mountain and Discovery Kingdom are pretty likely. And then not Scary Farm is also probable. So I would say those are the three parks here in California mentioned are really likely, and there's probably going to be a few others sprinkled in. Hopefully, maybe we'll see. And then we'll see about anything beyond that. But that's the plan. Let's see. Let's see what else we have. Do you think Dorney Park will finally announce the new Gravity group shuttle coaster finally sometime this year? That would be sick. I really doubt it, but you can always hope for it. So, but we'll see what actually, now that I think about it, I'm actually gonna flat out say it's not happening, because if the Knott's Giga is legit, usually Cedar Fair doesn't get more than one coaster in a year. They get a Giga. So, and I think they actually might be doing that with Cedar Point. We'll see. But if they are doing that, then there's no way there's going to be anything extra, I wouldn't think. But, yeah. And then last few questions. Did I see Sing 2? No, I'd rather not, to be completely honest. I'll probably see it at some point, but not in theaters. And yes, I'm aware of all the leaked stuff for Knott's Berry Farms Giga. I covered it, I think, the last stream, I think it was. So I'm well aware of it. We're not 100% sure those are like true leaks, but you know, it seems pretty probable. I'll just say that much. So that's going to be that for the pre-stream Q&A. If you have any questions I didn't answer or would like to get to later, I'll have 3 more Q&A segments, so should be able to get there, but I think I'm going to start off coaster time, so cue the intro, I guess. So for those of you who have just come in, welcome to the 28th episode and 2,000 subscriber special of Coaster Time, hosted by me, Carrick from Coaster Hour. And if you are new, how these live streams work is basically I go through a bunch of different segments such as news, trivia, Q&A, discussions, and a lot more where you, the viewers, can participate in many of these segments. And today I will be doing a special episode that will incorporate viewer call-ins and a new prediction segment. So how the viewer call-ins are going to work is I have a link in the description, and I'll have it pinned in the chat when we get there, where basically instead of doing topics to discuss with like one guest that I would normally have, I'm going to be bringing on multiple people. So I'll explain more when we get there, but that's how that's going to work when we get there. So that's going to be a little later in the stream, not going to be the first thing we start off with because I still have some things to get to, but looking forward to doing that, hearing some of your opinions. First Coaster Time stream where we have ever done viewer call-ins, so that's pretty sick. But with that being said, I'm going to move on to the news. We had, like I said, actually, I think I'm going to try to, no, actually, I'm not going to reverse it. I'll do it the way I was thinking of doing it. So let's see. Coaster Time 28. Oh, I forgot. The new way I have to do it, I have to like preset it up beforehand. So just wait a bit. I need to get it reset up again for the slides. Hopefully it should be good. Yeah, there was a decent amount of news that came out this week. Nothing too like any big headliners. Oh, and I forget it has the process too. Oh, that's so annoying. For the news thing, StreamYard did a change with it in terms of how you get slides on here a few weeks back. Okay, it actually loaded pretty quick, all things considered. So I will take that as a victory. But to start off, we do have some pretty more like sad news topics. And our first one is, of course, Stan Checketts, the founder of SNS, and also the one who really created the air launch system. He was a real pioneer. He has passed away at the age of 80. Anyone who's on social media probably saw this on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's very unfortunate to hear about, especially for someone like him who was such a pioneer to the industry, founder of SNS, like I said, and the one who also was very involved with the creation of the air launch. So, I mean, this time is going to be pretty hard for his family, so I'm wishing the best for them. But what a legend. What else can I say? But of course, quite tragic to hear about. So, had a great career and a great life. So that's all I can say for that. The next thing is one that is pretty, man, this one's going to be a bit of a doozy to get through because the research for this took a little bit. So there was an incident at Six Flags Mexico. If you're on social media, you were probably well aware of this. And so let's see where I'm going to start from. So basically what happened was there was an incident at Six Flags Mexico where a gay couple was kissing. They were taken out of line by staff who threatened to remove them from the park, even though they pointed out that there were other couples kissing in the area they were, who were not pulled out of line, or I guess like just given, they didn't pull them out. So they were pretty much singled out. And videos and discussions about this incident that took place spread everywhere on social media. It was everywhere. There were also demonstrations, protests, and this eventually led to Six Flags announcing the removal of a policy that discouraged guests from being overly affectionate following, like I said, this incident that took place. And then, but it wasn't really an apology. They just mentioned that they were getting rid of this policy. So people were still upset because they didn't really issue an apology, and eventually Six Flags Mexico, the park itself, did issue one later in the same day where they announced the removal of the policy. Obviously, this was quite the story, and since they did release their apology, I think it's safe to say that the couple, I'm gonna just assume that the couple really was singled out, which that's not okay. Definitely not a good look for Six Flags Mexico, especially because, as people pointed out, they even had like promotional stuff. They had promotional stuff during Pride Month, so not a good look. Not okay. But that's pretty much what happened. If you want to look into this more, you can do your own research. That's basically the best way I could describe it based off what I found. So there was that incident that took place. And then you also have the blue streak situation at Conneaut Lake Park. Now, it did catch fire. However, most of it is still intact. I mean, the coaster's gone for sure. But basically, blue streak at Conneaut Lake Park, it caught on fire and it burnt some portions of it. Most of the ride's still intact, but basically a controlled burn got out of control. That's the park side of it. Although they do reference permits that they say they had before the fire happened, and as it turns out, according to some reports, they didn't have a certain permit before the fire happened. In fact, they filed a permit after the fire happened, which is a really bad look and really irresponsible. But it's just very sad to see a coaster, a classic coaster like this, mistreated in this way. So It didn't fully get destroyed, but there was some damage involved, and like I said, very irresponsible to mess with fire like this. So without the correct permits, so that is obviously not ideal. But moving on from that, we do have some better news. So we have our ride openings. We have Blue Fire at Xuzhou Paradise in China. It is a Blue Fire clone that is opened. We believe there's a POV out there, RCDB listed as operating. If it isn't operating, then I'll update a little later because there wasn't as much confirmation as I would have liked. But all speeds at Sunac Land, Chengdu, also in China. This is the Tehran clone that is opened, and we know this for sure. We've seen riders on it and everything. So those are your ride openings. We had a park reopening in Typhoon Lagoon at Disney World. It's the first time it is open or been open since March of 2020. So big news, obviously, for those of you in Florida, one of the most attended water parks in the entire world. So that is something. And then in terms of closures, we had 2 park closures, 2 smaller parks. So we had a small park in Japan. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce the name because I would just butcher it so unbelievably badly. But this small park had a jet coaster that was their headlining attraction. Obviously sad to see really any park go away, and these smaller parks in Japan certainly are ones that we keep hearing more about, which is unfortunate. And then we have Valkenier in the Netherlands, another small park that they had, I think, 3 coasters. They were all family coasters, but another park that pretty tragic. It's closing. It got heavily flooded and they just couldn't save it. So that's what happened with that one. However, they are getting some rides relocated, I believe. I think their Wacky Worm is going to the park that has one of these oldest steel coasters in the world. That's also in the Netherlands. So for whatever that's worth, you have that. And then we have our temporary ride closures. You can put Journey to Atlantis. Actually, not quite, because they haven't quite closed it, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Orlando has closed. It will be closed till late summer for re-theme and refurbishment. Montezuma's Revenge, and when I mean re-theme, I don't mean they're getting rid of the Revenge of the Mummy theme. They're just changing up the storyline a little bit. Montezuma's Revenge is also not going to open until 2023 when it closes on January 10th. Rumor is they might be putting an LSM launch on the coaster, which, if that's true, I'm certainly not a fan of the move, but if it's needed to keep the coaster alive, then I understand. But we'll see what happens. Nothing's confirmed there in terms of what they're actually doing. We just know it will be closed till 2023. And then the Ultimate, they have announced it will once again be closed through 2022. Meaning it has not operated since 2019, which is just insane, but that's kind of where we're at right now. And in terms of things coming soon, we have a new family entertainment center in Germany called Flip Fun Park, and they will be getting a spinning coaster in 2023. They also announced that. And then Star City, a park in the Philippines that had actually had a fire a few years ago in 2019. It was not expected to ever return. Well, they have announced that they are going to return on January 14th, 2022, their soft reopening. So it is coming back, surprisingly. We don't know what rides will actually be there because the website hasn't been updated yet. But obviously, that's nice that a park that it looked like it was gone is actually returning. So that's pretty exciting stuff for anyone near the Philippines or in the Philippines, which there aren't too many parks there, so certainly worth noting. Next, we have Alabama Adventure. They have announced Little Tractors for 2022. One of the strangest trailers for a kiddie ride I have ever seen. Like, really bizarre trailer. It was funny, though, but we don't really know much about this ride. We don't even know if it's truly a ride. I think it is. Some people are saying it's just a pathway for little kids to ride, like little like little bikes on. I find that really unlikely, but whatever it is, Alabama Adventure has announced it. So another new family edition for next year. The second of 4 announcements they will have for rides coming this year, according to them. So there you go. Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando is opening on February 18th. Guess I could have included this in the coming soon. But we do have an opening date. It is opening a little, like about, I think, 2 to 3 weeks earlier for pass holder previews. If I'm correct, anyone who, I don't know the exact date it was, but pass holder previews, it's earlier, but this is the day it opens to the public. So, there you go. One of the more anticipated coasters of 2022, at least here in the US, is finally opening. So great to see. And then we also have some new concept art for Hangzhou Bay Sunac Tourism City has released. This is the park that I mentioned, I think a few months ago, they were getting a mock hyper coaster. Well, here it is in the renderings. They have track on site actually for that mock hyper. And according to the concept art, looks like it'll have a unique layout. Some people were questioning if it would or not. Definitely looks like it will. Kind of getting Thunder Dolphin vibes, at least this one portion of it. But there you go. There's also some other concept art if you look around for it. So that is that there. Just saw Coaster Dash in the chat. Thank you so much. And also congrats to you for 10K. That's quite the accomplishment. So had to say that, but thank you so much. Oh yeah, here's another concept art for it. Here it looks like it'll have some nice lighting at night too, so that's pretty cool. And then we also have Air Force One news. They finally had their groundbreaking ceremony. Just happened yesterday. We still don't have an opening date for this coaster. I'd expect late summer at earliest, like maybe July. But we'll see what happens. Maybe with the steel structure, they can get it up quicker than we're expecting. But certainly still an exciting coaster, and it's great to see that we finally at least had a groundbreaking. So that is good news there. And then we also had a new theme park get announced, Sun World Samson. Probably totally butchered that. This is a new theme park in Vietnam that was announced. I didn't look into it too much, but I know there is a large coaster you can see in the background, and I know there's a water park there. But this is also still kind of in approval phase, so it's not for sure confirmed that this is happening, but this is from the same group that has the Sun World Park that's getting the GCI coaster that just got announced a few months ago, Roaring Timbers. So looks like a nice new addition for Vietnam, and they're getting a lot of new coasters and parks. So certainly a country to pay attention to for new coaster projects. The next thing I have is Merlin. They have purchased a flying theater called This Is Holland, just a flying theater attraction. And they are the new operators of this ride. I don't know too much about it. This was very recent news, but if anyone's ever done this, Merlin is the new owner of it and the new operator of it. So there you go. And then we have a few more things. Camelot theme park in the UK, legendary, maybe not legendary, but it's a well-known defunct park that had, I believe it was Nightmare was their headlining coaster. It's not returning, but the space is being turned into a zombie horror drive-through experience called Camelot Rises, starting next month, believe it or not. I thought this would have been a Halloween type thing, but they want to do it next month. I guess for anyone who's interested in this park, it's an opportunity to get a look at it in a new way. So even though obviously it doesn't really look like it's going to return, probably ever at this point, I'm sure this will be fascinating for some UK enthusiasts just to get a chance to check it out. Next, we have the B&M Wing Coaster at Fantasy Valley. A POV has been released for it. It looks pretty weird, pretty interesting. I'll be talking about it a little later as well. But it's an interesting layout for a wing coaster, kind of hyper-like. So really an interesting take on the wing coaster that B&M is going with. But if you haven't checked out the POV, make sure to. All the links for these news things are in the description. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. And we also have some relocation news, or I guess not, it hasn't quite been relocated yet, but a park in Sweden called Fruvik, probably butchered that. They have put their Jetstar 2 up for sale. It is called Rocket. This coaster actually once operated at Alton Towers. It was called the Black Hole. UK enthusiasts will probably remember this ride, or at least would have heard of it. So there is that. We don't know who's going to get this ride, but they have put it up for sale, which is certainly interesting considering the history behind this coaster. One of the biggest things that came out recently, the Curse of Dark Castle replacement coaster has been leaked. We had basically the layout got leaked. Looks like a small Intamin launch coaster just from the looks of it. Was Intamin confirmed? Someone can confirm that if that was confirmed that. But to me, looks like an Intamin multi-launch family coaster. So we had that happen. And then the last two things, there is a new land clearing at Holiday Park. We have no idea what for. It's near Skyscream. Take that as you will. Maybe a new major ride coming in the future, maybe not. We'll have to see. And then in more unfortunate news, Hollywoodland in Ohio. This was a proposed indoor park. All plans for this have been scrapped. It is not happening. Honestly, not too surprising. Just the idea of this park kind of seemed far-fetched, but you know, it would have been nice if it happened, depending on the circumstances. So that is no longer in the picture. And then I do have just one channel announcement, and that is that I actually conducted my interview with Tyler Mullins from Skyline Attractions yesterday. Great interview, great guy. We got to talk about the Titan track, GCI projects like their wooden coasters, the Infinity Flyer trains, Piscetti Bowl coaster, and their compact steel coaster concepts. Really great interview. Can't wait to release it. The only thing that I will mention here is that when I went to edit it, when I had it set, I thought to where whoever was speaking would be on camera, and for some reason that didn't work out, and only Tyler Mullins is on camera, so I'm gonna have to put a picture of myself and kind of use footage to kind of like help out with that, because that didn't come out the way I wanted. It's not the end of the world though. I'll be able to figure it out, but I'll just mention that here just because when it comes out, it'll be a little different from the Adventureland interview in that way, and that was not intended. So I'll just mention that, but it was a great interview. And like I said, great guy. Very happy he was able to, we were able to work this out. So that should be fun. And that is all the news. So with that being said, we're going to be moving into our first Q&A segment. I guess we did a pre-stream one earlier, which will lead into the quiz. So any questions you have, you can ask them now. And then the quiz, I think I have the link pinned and the code. So yeah, Q&A time. Once again, I'm probably going to have to turn on this light during the quiz because it is starting to get dark a little bit already. But yeah, actually, yeah, it is dark. So I'll get that fixed up during the quiz. But yeah, the wing coaster looks, I'm curious about it. It's weird, but I'm curious. So it's interesting. It's an interesting looking ride. Favorite indoor coaster? Space Mountain by far, not even close. Space Mountain specifically at Disneyland is my favorite. It's actually in my top 20, believe it or not, and I have it over coasters that people would not expect. So I'm a big fan of Space Mountain. How does it feel to reach 2,000 subs? Like I said, it happened 2 months ago. I wasn't like quite as excited when I hit 1K. 1K was like the biggest deal ever. Well, was like milestone wise, it was the biggest one for me. But you know, it was still nice. I still wanted to do stuff, but it just came at a pretty busy time for me, so I really couldn't do it. Yeah, there are leaked images for Knott's Berry Farm's new Giga Coaster, but like I said, it's possible the leak could have been faked. It's extremely unlikely, but it is possible. So I'm still not saying it's confirmed for that reason, but I feel pretty good about it happening, especially when you consider the Knott's Berry Farm Hotel is getting new renovations, I believe, this year. So why would they be doing that if they weren't adding something big? Or at least maybe not that. Maybe I wouldn't say that, but it's kind of leaning. It's kind of leaning toward that. So yeah. What No Limits coasters should you make next? I don't watch too many new No Limits videos, so if you're asking like, are you asking like a specific coaster that already exists or like a model? Clarify a little bit more on that, and I'll answer back on that one. This might be repetitive, but thoughts of Todd Joseph as owner of Conneaut Lake Park. Funny thing is, I actually haven't talked about this situation all that much here, because it's just like, if I did, I would be reporting on it like every week. But I mean, I think a bunch of people have already said it, but yeah, he's not a good owner of Conneaut Lake Park, and what he's doing is absolutely horrible. And he seems like a genuinely awful person, which, I mean, that's pretty harsh to say. But if you look into him, I've seen the research, I've seen some things about him, even outside of this park, like, he genuinely seems like a horrible guy. So, I'm not a fan of what he's doing. And like I said, this whole thing that just happened just solidifies it, like how irresponsible to not even have your permits done right. Like I said, it seems like based off what I saw, they filed a permit after a fire started. You can't do that. That's extremely, like I said, irresponsible and dangerous. So, and I know he did block off some ways to Conneaut Lake Park, which caused other problems because it was also ways for people to get to their houses. So, which was against the law. So, like I said, terrible guy. Not gonna elaborate too much more on that. Let's see. Yeah, I know it's for what you make, but like I said, are you looking more for like a model or like a specific coaster? And I'm not too familiar with No Limits, so I'm probably not the right person to ask. Thoughts on Six Flags' new CEO? I really don't know much about him, so I can't really say much. I say give him a chance. I know people like the direction that Spanos was going in, and I don't know too much about this guy, but I say give him a chance. I know that a lot of people were disappointed with the news, but like I said, we'll see. I have like pretty much no thoughts. It blank slate basically. So we'll see how that goes with that, because that is gonna be something. But there you go. And then are there any more questions? If not, then I'll probably move on to the quiz, assuming we have a decent amount of people on. Oh shoot, I didn't report on the news things that came in late. So last second thing, there are a few news things that I'll just mention right here that came out like pretty much after I was done making everything. So Journey to Atlantis, it looks like they're gonna replace some parts. Some people are even saying retrack. Document just came out for that. And that's for the SeaWorld Orlando one, so that's happening. And then I feel like there was another one that's big that I'm missing, but I don't know. Alabama Adventure and Fun Spot Atlanta are also doing a bet over the college football championship. The loser will have to rename one of their coasters after the opposing team for a little bit. Kind of like was it Worlds of Fun and whatever other park they did it. A few parks have done stuff like this, so kind of friendly competition. That's kind of cool. But yeah. Okay, no, the CEO does not own Spirit Airlines. I believe that's false. Salim Basul is the guy who is the CEO, right? There is someone who took a leadership position who is involved. He was like the Spirit guy, but I don't believe this is him. Um, some people got confused about that. I don't think this is it's him. So, someone can correct me on that if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, yeah, Ben Baldanza, is, non-executive chairman of the board, which is obviously a high position, but he's not the CEO. He's the one who used to be the spirit guy. So, we'll see what happens. Let's see. What coaster do I think needs a repaint next? I guess if they can get to Goliath at Magic Mountain. I'm kind of mad they didn't use the green paint for its supports. Honestly, I think that would have been perfect. I think that would have actually been really nice. Yeah, Cedar Point and Great America did it once. Top Thrill Cubster. Yep, remember that. Yeah, it's fine. A lot of people got confused with that thing, and I can see why. So yeah, but let's see the quiz. Not too many people have joined based off what I saw. So is the thing not pinned? Let me know in chat. Like I said, join the quiz if you haven't yet. We're gonna get started on that pretty quick here. Although in my thing it shows that not too many people have joined. But I guess any last questions, ask them now before you head into the quiz. And that'll be that. So, and then like I said, the viewer call-ins, I'll be doing that a little later. But I'll explain that when we get there. It isn't linked, seriously. I could have sworn. I is it not? Guys, in chat, let me just make sure. It should be. Yes, like I said, I did see the leaked images for the Giga Coaster. Yes, I have. Let's see. It shows up for me. It's pinned. Oh wait, no, it's not. Okay, I had it. It just wasn't pinned. There. That's it. Okay. Yeah. I don't know how I messed that up. It's pinned now. My bad. That makes a lot more sense. Yes. Okay. So yes, thank you, Imperial Coaster. You got good catch there. My apologies on that one. But yeah, so now it's pinned. Anyone who wants to join can join, and then we'll do a Q&A right afterwards. Or not right afterwards. No, the next Q&A is actually a little while from now. But yeah, actually, after this, we'll be doing my prediction segment, which will be the first thing. First time I've ever done that, so yeah. The Ron McKenzie thing, I heard about that earlier, but there wasn't any, like, complete confirmation of that. I've heard it being spread around, but I haven't seen anything real concrete, about that news. So I'm gonna hold off on that one. It's confirmed. How so? Oh, really? Okay. I'll look at this confirm actually if I can. Facebook? Because I looked at that earlier when I heard and nothing had come up yet. Okay, it is on Facebook, so let me just confirm that 100%. Let's see. Oh my god. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so that is true. Ron McKenzie did really, he's no longer the president. Wow. Wow. Wow, I was not expecting that. I've never been to Six Flags Over Texas. I know from people that I've heard from that he was awesome. He did a great job. So, hats off to him, for all he had done for Six Flags Over Texas and Six Flags. But yeah, okay, that I did not. Wow, that is crazy. Um, yeah, that is nuts. Hopefully, whatever he does next, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna move on to the quiz now. Only 3 people so far. So like I said, join the quiz if you haven't already. Although, okay, yeah, the stream thing's off because it was like, okay, so, join the quiz, like I said, if you haven't already. I guess I'll just start it right now. Maybe Friday nights aren't the move for the future. But I'll put it on the screen. And that's gonna be that. The problem is tomorrow, because there's football going on, I couldn't do it at the normal time, so that's why this changed to Friday night. So, yeah. So I'm gonna start this then. And anyone who still wants to join, you can, but you'll have a disadvantage. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. This is just coaster trivia. So the first question is, what city is Skyline Attractions based in? Of course, I just did the interview, so it'll release, I'm hoping, by next Wednesday. We'll see what actually happens. But yeah, we'll see what happens with the release of it. But I'm hoping to release it by this Wednesday, upcoming Wednesday. It is in Orlando, Florida. So there you go. For those who didn't know, Charged is in the lead so far. Next question. What year did Goliath at La Ronde open? Opening year question. And the correct answer is... Wow, that took a while to load. 2006. So that is your answer. Insane Coaster Junkie in the lead. Also, please, guys, do not use RCDB for this. I shouldn't have to say that, but just in case. How many inversions does Afterburn have? That is the next question. Yeah, we're gonna, like I said, the call-in, it's gonna be a little later, because it'll kind of tie in with what I had done beforehand, so that's why. But yes, that will happen. It's not happening randomly because I think that'd be a little, like, at different times, because I think that'd be a little too chaotic for my liking. But yeah, and everyone got Afterburn right, 6 inversions. Next question. What is the shortest B&M Hyper by height? And like I said, I'm also going to be doing the call-ins, like, topics to discuss. So that's going to be the plan. But like I said, it's going to be a little bit later. Hollywood Dream the Ride is actually the shortest B&M Hyper by height. It is only 144 feet tall, which I believe actually makes it the only B&M Hyper model that's under 150 feet, because I think Flight of the Himalayan Eagle's at least a little bit over. Next question, what is the name of this coaster? The train might help, actually it probably won't. Pretty obscure coaster. But yeah, the correct answer is Han Cotton. So I probably butchered that, but there you go for that one. And this is at Bon Bon Land. This is their Gerstlauer spinner. Next question, who manufactured Asuka at Nara Dreamland? This was a famous wooden coaster at a pretty well-known park in Japan that, of course, is no longer around. And the correct answer is Intamin. So, yeah, Intamin made this coaster. It is a Cyclone model in terms of, like, it's one of the, basically, I won't quite say Cyclone clones, but, like, you know, kind of like that. Next question, kind of a weird one. Which of these coasters did not coexist at one point with New Texas Giant? As in, they did not operate at the same time at any point. Like, it was already defunct by the time New Texas Giant existed. That is basically the question. If that was confusing, then my apologies. But I'd actually like to do this question more. It's kind of fun, assuming people, like, understand it. Because it's the first time I've ever done this. Eagle Fortress. Yep, Eagle's Fortress is the correct answer. And so there you go. Believe it or not, Speed the Ride was actually open like for 1 week after New Texas Giant opened. So theoretically, if you lived in Vegas, you could have ridden New Texas Giant on opening day and then went back and ridden Speed the Ride right before its closure. So doubt that anyone did that, but you could have. And then Dania Beach Hurricane was literally open only a few more days after New Texas Giant opened before permanently closing. So that is crazy. I totally missed the last question, but a lot of you got it right, it looked like. 9th question, what is the oldest operating coaster in New Jersey? Certainly not the one in the picture. Not even an option on here, but couldn't get it away from the picture. Correct answer is Runaway Mine Train at Six Flags Great Adventure. That is the oldest operating. Insane Coaster Junkie in the lead, with Imperial Coasters right behind. And the final question, who manufactured the one and only Rainier Rush? One of the most infamous coasters ever. If you don't know, this coaster was quite awful. And it operated at the Washington State Fair. It actually traveled around a little bit, but I think its days are done. And the correct answer was Top Fun. They created this abomination of a coaster. And then in terms of results, Imperial Coasters got first, 55 points, closely followed by Insane Coaster Junkie in charge. And I know Chaos, you like entered late, so good score all things considered. But there you go, that's going to be the quiz. And with that being said, we're going to move on to my next segment, which is going to be predictions. Now, I am going to ask if you have any predictions during the viewer call-in point, I will allow you can like talk about them. So that's kind of like why I'm saying some of this is leading into it. Basically, this is a new segment I have. I'm starting off strong this week with 4 predictions of things that I think will happen within the amusement industry. But usually I'll probably do 2, especially if I have guests, just to keep things interesting. So some of these are going to be a little out there in terms of predictions. Other ones are going to be a little not too surprising, but you know, that's the point. I think this is going to be a bit of a polarizing segment. I'm sure some people will like this, some people won't, but I thought it would be fun. So my first prediction is going to be about Project Penguin, this surf coaster at SeaWorld Orlando. We don't know for sure if it is happening or not, even though it got leaked, but I do believe it will happen, and it will be announced later this year. It feels like it's going to happen. Yes, the layout seems kind of redundant, but I think it will have some sort of seating arrangement, whether it's a stand-up coaster or something else. And I just have a good feeling that it's going to happen. So that's my first one. My second one, Herschend will acquire at least one new park this year. They are still very much interested in getting new parks. If very little known fact, but a few months ago, they actually reached out to Silverwood to see if they could purchase them. Silverwood said no, but they're certainly still interested in getting new parks. I have no idea who it would be, but yeah, it wasn't leaked. It was literally like put out in a news article. Like you can probably look it up. For Project Penguin, what was it? Park Fans leaked it, right? Yeah, I think so. So, but we don't know for sure if it's still happening, but I predict it will. My next prediction, this one is might be the least likely of the bunch. Mission Ferrari at Ferrari World Abu Dhabi will finally open this year. I just really hope this happens. I mean, it was supposed to open in 2017, so it's got to open eventually, right? It was seen testing not too long ago. That doesn't really mean much, but I think the big thing here is that SeaWorld Abu Dhabi is opening next year, and yes, while that park is opening, it'll probably bring people to Ferrari World on its own. I think Ferrari World will want to have something to entice people even more. And so I think opening Mission Ferrari this year would be fantastic, and I really hope to see it. And I know many other people hope to see it finally open soon. And then my last prediction, I'll explain this one a little bit, but North America, I believe we will get an announcement for North America's first new generation Thrilling Vekoma coaster. Now, why do I think this? Especially because the last few years haven't really been that promising when it comes to this. There were some IAPA interviews done talking to some of the people at Vekoma, and they really seem like, if you watch those, that I think it's a specific interview from Ace, I think is the one I'm thinking of. They really seem to want to get their coasters over here. They installed an office in Orlando, they said pretty recently. Now, they said recently, I don't know what that definition is. I don't know if that was like a few months ago, a few years ago, or what. But it really does seem like they do want to get new coasters over here. So I'm going to predict that we will get our first one. Once again, not sure where, but maybe as we get closer to the end of this year, I'll update that. That's going to be the prediction segment. Like I said, when we do the viewer call-ins, which will still be in a little bit, I see Imperial Coasters, you're here. It'll still be a little bit from now. Still have 2 more segments to get through before we get to the viewer call-ins. But that is going to be one of the things that will be discussed. Potential predictions for really the future. It doesn't have to be this year or next year, so however you want to do it. But the next segment I'm going to move to is YouTube shoutouts. Pretty short one this week because I did a stream only like 9 or 10 days ago, if that. So these are for channels who have reached or are getting close to reaching milestones. But basically that's going to be how that goes. And the first channel I want to shout out, Mozzarella. They reached 1,000 subscribers recently. Pretty underrated channel, but they did grow quite a bit within the last probably a few months, I'd say. Based off my understanding, they have a really good series on like what to know before you go to a certain park. It's kind of review-like, but they also go into logistics like hotels, other places nearby, stuff like that, and it's really a great series. And they have some other good content as well, but that's my favorite series of hers. It's a really good series. Would highly recommend checking out the channel if you haven't already. All the channel links are in the description. But yeah, great channel. And once again, congratulations on 1,000 subs. Next channel I have, Canopy Coaster, reached 10,000 subscribers very recently. I know he did his Q&A stream yesterday. I was only able to catch the tail end of it, but great guy, former guest of the stream. And well-deserving of 10,000 subs. I'd probably say this every episode at this point, but he has my favorite coaster reviews of any YouTuber, any coaster YouTuber out there. So, and Canopy Coaster is in the chat. Let's go. Yeah, that is perfect timing. So there you go. Congratulations, Mike, on 10,000 subs. Well deserved. And then our last channel I'd like to shout out, 808 Coaster Life. He is near 2,000 subscribers. Some of the best editing of any coaster content creator in the, on YouTube. And a very underrated channel. He's the one who really got me to do Coaster Hour. Coaster Time even wouldn't exist without him. So, I've talked to him quite a bit. So, great channel. Also another great guy, and in my opinion, very underrated. So make sure to check him out if you haven't already. So the last segment I'll do before we do the viewer call-ins is going to be my most anticipated new for 2022 coasters. A lot of people are releasing their lists, so I figured I might as well do mine. I'll make this one relatively short for most of the coasters we kind of know a lot about, because I think a lot has already been said that I can't really add on to. But top 22 most anticipated new for 2022 coasters. little bit of a long list, but it's not going to take that long in terms of like how long it takes, although I didn't load it up beforehand, which is less than ideal. Like I said, I have to get used to StreamYard's new thing. And then while this happens, I forgot to turn on the lights, so apologies that I'm like really I don't have much light on me, but I'll get that fixed. So actually I'll get this up. So like I said, top 22 most anticipated new for 2022 new coasters. Starting off the countdown, I have Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It was really a toss-up between this, Emperor, and Defiance, but I decided to go with Dr. Diabolical's. Just because I think the theming in the queue, I do believe they will actually have some cool stuff in there. And hearing Jeff Siebert, anytime he ever talks about this coaster, I think he really sells it well. And like some of their design choices, we'll see how well they execute in real life, but it does sound like that Airtime Hill is going to deliver. Like I said, we'll have to see how it is in real life, but that really seems to be something. And of course, the Beyond Vertical drop on a dive coaster is really something. I'm sure some people are going to say this is too low. Some people might say it's too high. But that is my stance on it. And so that's kind of the going to be where it lands for me. My number 21 coaster is going to be the B&M Wing at oh, there we go. There's a light. Hopefully that works out. The B&M Wing at Fantasy Valley. Yes, I have a picture of Wild Eagle on here. I couldn't get a picture I could use for the other one, so oh well. But the B&M Wing coaster, it has a fascinating looking layout. Like I said, it kind of looks hyper-like at certain moments. Very like kind of flowy layout. I'm not sure it's my thing. I know some people really think it looks really good. It's one I'm curious to hear the reviews of. I know we're probably not going to hear much for a little while, but it's certainly interesting. Just with, like I said, how the layout has a decent bit of airtime and kind of acts more like a hyper. But it does have some nice looking inversions as well. So it's not like it's completely like bad or anything. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. My number 20 is Palindrome at Kodoland. This coaster was obviously the one that was shown at IAPA this year. Looks like a really fun ride. Looks like a great fit for a park just getting started. And I'm really curious, that twisting drop, it's not the normal Beyond Vertical that Gerstlauer likes to do, but I think that drop is really going to be something else. And that inversion that goes over the road is going to be so sick. That visual is going to be so awesome. And I'm curious how the spike is going to feel. I don't know if it's going to do a whole lot, but it's interesting that they went with basically like what was it? Like a hump spike? Forget what they called it. But instead of a like Beyond Vertical one, or like, yeah, where it basically inverts. But a very interesting looking ride, and one to look forward to if you're in Texas. My number 19 coaster is Barracuda at Hainan Ocean Paradise. This is the Intamin vertical lift coaster that has been supposed to open for many years, and well, at least it's testing at some capacity right now, so there's good news there. Yeah, so Barracuda, it's got it looks interesting. I don't know if it looks better than Fahrenheit. That dive loop is so tall too, or yeah. So it's a very interesting looking ride. We don't know, I think, the entire layout. Like, I mean, we can kind of like look at it, but I don't know that we could actually have like the entire layout in a POV, so that would be nice to see at some point, to get a better idea of how this thing is actually going to run. But this is only Intamin's second vertical lift coaster, so I'm very curious to see how it rides and how it is. So that should be something to look forward to. My number 18 is Roaring Timbers. This is the GCI coaster in the at Sun World in Vietnam. I guess specifically Sun World Han Tom Nature Park, because I think there's multiple of these parks. But the setting looks absolutely incredible, if nothing else, and I'm sure this coaster will be very, very fun to ride. Cedar Flags compared it to, it said it kind of looked Thunderhead-like. Haven't ridden that coaster, but it does look like that. Looks like a very fun ride for sure. Once again, another one that I'd love to see a POV for. We just haven't seen it yet. But certainly a coaster that in a year where we're not getting too many wooden coasters, it's nice to see it. So that's another one that's on my radar. My number 17 is the SNS Air Launch Coaster at Chengdu Window of the World. This coaster is still under construction. We don't know, honestly, out of all the coasters on here, this is one of the ones that I'm least sure will actually open this year because it's been delayed forever. But it's a Joe Draves layout, has obviously the air launch, but with multiple inversions. Looks like it's the pacing on this, I imagine, is gonna be ridiculous, which is something I'm really looking forward to. Some really aggressive looking airtime hills. It's got the dive loop that looks sick. And so like, it just looks like a very interesting layout. And I think this is a ride that more people should pay attention to whenever it actually opens, because it looks pretty sick. My number 16 is Icebreaker at SeaWorld Orlando. Once again, this is another one that some people might say is too high. You know, it could be. I really do think the airtime on this is going to be really good. And it's going to be surprising for a coaster that's being billed more as a family coaster. I think this ride is really going to surprise, just with the strength of the airtime it's going to have, which is really what I'm most looking forward to, is going to be the strength of the airtime on the hills and on that drop. So that is Icebreaker. Not too much more to go over. It's a pretty well-known coaster at this point. And my number 15 is going to be Storm at Dubai Hills Mall. This is the indoor Intamin coaster that has the vertical LSM launch. Only will be, I think, the second coaster in the world to feature a vertical launch. And so, basically. And then so this coaster is kind of like the closest thing we have to a polar coaster. We don't know too much about this in terms of like the layout sequencing, because we don't have we don't have an illustration of the actual layout. We don't have any POVs or anything like that. But this is a coaster that, one, I was surprised to truly see it come to fruition. Like, it is built, so it is opening. And hopefully it opens sometime in the near future, because this coaster really looks like one that, prior to it going viral on social media when the indoor thing got released, it was really one that's under the radar, and it still kind of is. So looking forward to seeing more of it. My number 14 is Hot Wheels Looping Coaster at Mattel Adventure Park. This rendering is completely inaccurate, so don't really look at this as the actual rendering. It looks like this coaster is going to be a launch coaster more likely, which is interesting, but it's going to be Chance's second GTX coaster. I don't believe they're actually calling it a Hyper GTX, this one. But it'll be very interesting to see what their take on their GTX model is when it has inversions and what's looking like a launch. But this coaster is still very mysterious at this point. It's worth questioning if it will even open in 2022, which honestly, if I had to guess, maybe not. So I actually maybe should have excluded it from here. And if I did that, I think Emperor would have made the list. So if you want to look at it that way. Looks like a very intriguing ride. Like I said, disregard this rendering. It's inaccurate, but it's what I could use. So there you go. My number 13 coaster is going to be the unnamed Intamin Blitz coaster at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. We know the layout of this. There is a really a good rendering of it. I forget who made it, but you can look it up if you haven't seen it before. The pacing of this ride is kind of my biggest question mark. Of course, in the No Limits, I guess recreation really is what it was. We don't really know what the pacing is gonna be like. I don't know if it's gonna be more family coaster like yes, it has inversions, or if it's gonna be something more like more intense. So that's like kind of my holdup with this coaster. But regardless, this coaster will be a lot of fun. The pacing, like I said, is going to be the most interesting thing. Also, fun fact, you will be able to see Formula Rossa and Ferrari World and Flying Aces from this coaster. So at least I believe that's correct. Yeah, yes, it would be. So that's really interesting for sure. But this coaster looks like it should be fun, if nothing else. At absolute worst, and at best, it could be one of the best coasters in the UAE. Like, although, yeah, I would say that. My number 12 is Wonder Woman Flight of Courage at Six Flags Magic Mountain. Going to my home park. Some people would say this is very low. Some people would say this is high. It's an interesting coaster because Jersey Devil didn't really ever settle in much in its first year of operation. So a lot of people had different experiences on it. I think this one will run better. It's in warmer weather, warmer conditions. It also has the extra element, so that mid-course can't probably trim as much as it did on Jersey Devil, at least at certain points. So I think it will be a great ride. It should be a great fit for Magic Mountain. But I don't know how much I'm truly going to like this coaster, but I'm sure I'll at least enjoy it. It looks like another coaster that I think it'll be fun, if nothing else. And probably a good number 3 to 4 coaster at the park. Probably more looking like 4 in my opinion, but looks like a really good fit there. My number 11 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. Bit of a mysterious coaster in terms of all that's going to happen. I imagine the theming level is going to be insane. And it's the longest indoor coaster on the planet. It's like 5,000 plus feet of track indoors, which is ridiculous. And it's going to be a launch coaster. So I do expect that it is going to be decently thrilling, but the level of theming is also going to be incredible. It looks like a groundbreaking attraction. So I had to put it at a pretty respectable spot, I would say. So that is why Guardians is above rides such as Wonder Woman, the Intamin Blitz, and some of the other ones we have seen up to this point. But my number 10 coaster is going to be Mission Ferrari at Ferrari World Abu Dhabi. Fingers crossed this coaster miraculously opens this year. Like I said, I predict it will, but who really knows? This also looks like a groundbreaking coaster. The level of theming in it and some of the things it's going to do with the tilt track and all its like kind of tricks is going to be truly something unlike anything we've ever seen. Even though maybe from a layout standpoint, from true elements, maybe it's not like anything too crazy, but just because it's so unique and something we've never seen before, and it looks like it, I expect it'll be a very high quality ride. It has to be high on my list just because it's groundbreaking, like I said. My number 9 coaster is going to be Leviathan at SeaWorld Australia. This is the Gravity Group coaster that'll have, the last row will actually be backwards, so that's really cool. This coaster should be opening relatively soon, I think within the next few months, if I'm correct. Maybe even next month. Actually, no, I believe I'm wrong on that. I think it is a few months from now. But this coaster, it's a Gravity Group, so I expect it to be incredible. We'll probably be loaded with a lot of great airtime. And we'll probably just have really good pacing as well. I'm not sure that we have a confirmed animation with the confirmed an animation with the confirmed layout. I know there's that one that keeps popping up. I don't know if that's the actual layout of the coaster. I have to look back on it, but I mean, I expect that this coaster will be really good. So, and it's like I said, Gravity Group has been. Is a great manufacturer, and they've been doing some really good stuff as of late. So Looking forward to this. My number 8 is Vekoma Renegade at Fanta Animation Park. That stall, whatever that is, that looks sick. The first drop also looks pretty intense because I think it like turns right afterwards, so that's gonna be really sick. No launch here, just a lift hill, but I think this is gonna be like a more aggressive version, more aggressive than say like the Hyperspace Warp, which some people compared it to. I think this ride will be pretty aggressive, so I'm looking forward to it. Looks like another really high quality ride from Vekoma. My number 7 coaster is going to be the mysterious Bombay Express at Bollywood Parks Dubai, credited as having the most airtime moments on any coaster in the world. I don't know about that, but what I do know is it does look absolutely insane. Just from the little bits of testing we've seen. Another coaster that I don't believe we know the full layout of completely yet. We have like a general idea, but it also looks like it'll have fantastic pacing, and it looks like a really unique ride for GCI, so looking forward to this coaster. And hopefully it opens sometime soon. We don't really know when it's going to open, at least I don't, so we'll see what happens. Number 6 is going to be Hurricane Roller Coaster at Xuzhou Forest World in China. This is, of course, the crazy-looking Mock Rides coaster. The pacing, once again, on this looks insane. Not so sure about the launch, but, Mock Rides coasters aren't really known for their launches, so I wouldn't go in with that expectation. But the layout looks insane. I think it's a Heartline roll, literally right after the top hat. That looks... I can't believe that exists on a mock coaster. And the other inversions also look great. It's a short-looking ride, but the layout looks like it'll pack quite the punch, and this looks like it'll be one of Mock Ride's best coasters to date. And it actually has been getting a lot of attention, all things considered. Even with it being in China and everything, a lot of people are aware of this one and keeping their eyes on this one, which is well-deserved. Mock Rides really is pushing their limits with this, and it's really cool to see them do something really different. My number 5 coaster is going to be Turbo Turtle Power at Nickelodeon Universe Chongqing. So this is an Intamin LSM launch coaster that will have 8 inversions. The green coaster in the background is the one you're supposed to look at if you're confused. And there's also a rendering for this coaster. If it's anything like not a rendering, a No Limits recreation based off the layout that was shown in a magazine article, an amusement park magazine article. This coaster, if the pacing is really good, it honestly could be one of Intamin's, I'll say at least best launch coasters to date. It looks so good. I know some people are kind of like saying this is Shellraiser like. I don't really see it. Like, yes, it has a lot of inversions, but I think it's quite a different ride. Obviously, yeah, that's kind of, I guess it kind of fills in that gap for that park, but this coaster looks insane. So one that I think deserves more recognition. My number 4 coaster is going to be Phoenix at Faroop Summerland. Great looking Vekoma coaster, might be their best coaster to date. We'll see. The airtime on this coaster looks insane. The stall loop, that looks really unique and like it's gonna really deliver some incredible hang time. And that's going to be like just an incredible coaster. This one has been covered pretty well, so I will make it short here, but this coaster looks great. And how it's also, I like how they have put it in the woods. It's going to blend in with the woods, and you'll probably have some close interactions to the trees, which will be something pretty interesting. But basically, I see this as like they looked at Lek coaster and made it a little less intense, but it still looks fantastic. So that's going to be Phoenix. My number 3 coaster, Airy Force 1 at Fun Spot Atlanta. Fun Spot absolutely knocked it out of the park here. This coaster looks world class. it might be the best coaster coming next year. Honestly, any of these top 4 have that potential, I would say. It's just, but Airy Force 1, it looks insane. The quad down, only the second we've ever seen on any coaster, so that's incredible. The Raven Trust dive, it's like an RMC Raptor dive loop, or whatever that's called. It's like that, but they put it on an iBox. It's going to be really interesting to experience because I love that element. I love that element on Railblazer, so it'll be interesting to see how it works on an iBox. And this coaster is just loaded, so an Outer Bank as well. Like, this coaster is so sick. It's a coaster enthusiast dream. It's insane. So fun spot, huge winners here. This coaster looks fantastic. My number 2 coaster needs no introduction, Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens, Tampa. The pacing of this ride looks like out of this world. This coaster might be the best. It might be the best RMC for, I would say, probably a good chunk of people just because of the pacing. Even if it is a shorter ride than, say, something like Steel Vengeance or something, the pacing of this ride, like, I mean, that's literally what strikes, what hits me the most when I see it. Also, the death roll looks sick. That first airtime moment looks absolutely bonkers. And yeah, this coaster looks absolutely sick. But my number 1, I might back off of this in a little bit, but I'm still have Pantheon at number 1. The pacing of this coaster, when you looked at it from off-ride, when it was like really getting going, it looked also incredible. That Outer Banked Hill, I think like the elements on it are really going to land. So even though it doesn't have that many, the ones it has are going to be incredible. So that's why I have it as high as I do compared to some of these other coasters. Now, I do know some people were disappointed with the first POV. Looked to me that it was that POV was recorded probably during an early test run in the winter, so I'm not going to put too much stake in that. But I think this coaster looks absolutely fantastic, and looks like one of the best coasters in the world. All 4 of these top 4 really do. So yeah, there we go. JB Thrills just saw. Yeah, I think you might have left. Let's see. I don't know if you left, but I did mention that. Like, I did look on his Facebook, and yes, he did announce it. So that is confirmed. He is no longer the president, which is crazy. But yeah. But anyways, that was my top 22 new for 2022 coasters. Obviously, I don't expect all of those to open in 2022, but hopefully more of those may open than not, I guess. I mean, that would be great to see. Hopefully most of them open. You're still here. Oh, I thought you left like earlier when I like I said, saw that, but yes, that is confirmed. I can say that for sure. Okay, so now the next thing I'm gonna do, a lot of you have been asking for it, and I promise this very cool opportunity I'm doing with this Coaster Time stream. This is going to be the chance for viewer call-ins. Allow me to pin it in the chat. I'm going to do that. So allow me to do that. And I saw someone gave me a donation. I'm going to get there. Shoot, okay. Let's see. Parse, I can't read that, but you love when I do the activities in my live. Thank you so much. I do want to incorporate more of that, so I really appreciate that. And I have put the StreamYard link in the chat. It is pinned, so there you have it. It's also in the description if you can't find it that way. But before I get into the viewer call-ins, and I see 3 people are in backstage. Imperial Coasters, you'll go first because I see you first. JB Thrills, you go second. Insane Coaster Junkie, you'll go third. based off what I have. I'll also put in the private chat. I'll make sure you're ready when I do that. But basically, for this viewer call-in, it's going to work kind of like my topics to discuss segment that I do with guests. So first topic will be news reactions. Doesn't necessarily have to be to the news for this week because honestly, there wasn't really much. But like just any announcements that has happened within the last few months, your reactions on that. I'll ask about, you can go into any specific ones you want. So we have news reactions, predictions for the future. If you have any predictions for what's coming in the future for any parks, whether it's this year or however, you can also mention those. That'll be like the next sort of topic. We'll talk about your most anticipated new coasters coming next year. Some of the ones you're really looking forward to, maybe ones that you're riding, things like that. And then anything else you want to say before we end it, that'll be how that works. And then also, actually, beforehand, I should mention this. I'll ask you to introduce yourself once you come on here. So, hope that's all good. Imperial Coasters, I know you've also done this, so also great that you're going to be coming on first because you've had experience when I did this for the IAPA streams. But this is the first time I've ever done this for a Coaster Time stream. Excited to get it going. Imperial Coasters, just gonna make sure you're good. Put in chat if you're good. You're good. All right, I'm gonna bring you on. Alrighty, Imperial Coasters, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Awesome. So I guess I'll start off. Oh wait, do you want to say anything more before I start this thing off?
I'm good.
Alrighty. So announcement reactions, just really anything that has happened the last few months, whether it's like Airy Force 1, Cheddar Chase, really anything that's happened the last few months. What are some of the announcements that like either surprised you or intrigued you the most that has happened, I guess, relatively recently?
I'm surprised at the Six Flags corporate changes.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure.
Cause Mike Spaniels was leading the company in the right direction. I don't know why I decided to like get rid of him at the last second.
Sometime like the board, maybe there probably was differing opinions. Maybe he left on his own terms. I'm not 100% certain on that, but that is a big change, one I was not expecting. So that and we'll see how that plays out because I really did like the direction he was going into. So it certainly is something to think about. What do you think about it? Like, do you have any ideas? Do you think like what could happen in the future, or?
Well, I just hope this doesn't turn into a C-roll situation, with their CEOs.
Oh yeah, like how it's a revolving door. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
That would be a legitimate concern to have.
I also hope this new CEO will actually treat the parks like Mike Spaniels did.
Like what? Like
infrastructure improvements.
Yeah, I think that definitely is a direction they need to keep going towards, just improving the parks, as you said, in infrastructure. That's a big thing. Any other ones, or any other news things?
To be honest, yeah, because Airy Force 1, first of all, I am stunned at that layout.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah. What's your favorite element?
Man, that is so hard. I don't know if it's my favorite, but like I said, the Raven Trust Dive, just because we've seen it on the RMC Raptors, I'm really curious how that's going to ride on the iBox, just because I also have that experience. I think my favorite, just based off what I'm looking at, is quad down, but that one's probably most intriguing.
Same here. It just looks really intense, like sort of like Maverick.
The Raven Trust Dive, or the entire coaster?
Just like, I think they took some notes from Maverick, because that looks really intense from low to the ground.
Yeah, it does. Actually, yeah, you're right. They did focus a lot more on low to the ground moments, which is nice to see. So it's really cool that we get to see that with a larger RMC.
Yeah, because Air Force One will definitely be the park's biggest investment, and I hope it'll turn out well.
Absolutely, and by a long shot, it's crazy. Just what a wild addition, but an awesome addition for that park.
Indeed, indeed.
Do you have any potential predictions for anything you could see happening in the amusement industry in the future, whether it's like park additions, removals, whatever, anything like that?
Well, yeah, I do have three. First off, I think Carnival Lake Park is done.
Yeah, very tragic, but
Even
probably
though
true.
even though I hate to say it, but it just is done. I think some of the rides will get relocated, but some of the others won't. Like Devil's Den. That ride is uncertain right now.
I hope it gets relocated. I know the volunteer workers just stepped down from it, which I hope it gets the respect it deserves and goes somewhere else.
Maybe it could like go to Canopus.
I think some people brought it up, but I think I don't know the system of the ride. I don't know too much about it, but from my understanding, they might have too many rides that are kind of similar-ish, so didn't they might not is what I had heard some people were concerned about.
Yeah. My second prediction is for Alabama Adventure.
Oh, alrighty.
For 2023, I think this is a wild shot in the dark, but I think they'll give it a coma.
Ooh, alrighty.
Yeah, because they need another major coaster, and a Vekoma would fit there perfectly.
Yeah, that would be a really good fit. And I know it wasn't one of the ones they like mentioned in that Ace thing a while back, but maybe now having more time to consider it, perhaps they are on the table. So I would love to see that. Great prediction.
Yeah. And my third one is for Knobles.
Ooh, what are you expecting there?
Well, first off, I think they'll open that Kitty Turtle ride in
Oh, nice.
2022.
Hopefully, yeah, I hope so.
And the Banner Curve.
Yep. Yeah, that one too.
And this is also another shot in the dark, but I think they'll open up a new coaster for like 2023.
Ooh, that one I have a harder time seeing, but
It'll be probably like
that'd
a
be nice.
family edition. It'll be like a family edition, however.
Yeah. Yeah, actually maybe they take a chance on like although I know some people didn't love the Impulse edition just because it was like they had wooden coasters, but I don't know what space they have, but maybe they look for like a Zampero, like their new launch coaster thing. Something like that. That could be in the works. I could see that.
Mine would be like a Vekoma suspended family coaster.
That would be good too. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, that is all I have.
Alrighty. And then for new coasters coming next year, whether it's ones that you're specifically maybe riding or just ones in general, what are the three that you would be most excited to ride if you could just like teleport there and ride it basically?
Well, first off, Air Force One, obviously.
Yeah, I could understand that one.
Yeah, that one is just really intriguing.
Yeah, it's a fascinating RMC coaster.
Yeah, my second one would be Dr. By Diabolical's Cliffhanger. Just
Ooh,
because,
interesting.
yeah, it's the theming that gets me.
Yeah, if they really execute on that could be fantastic.
Oh, yeah, indeed. And my third one would probably be the... Well, I don't know, actually. Because there's a lot of them.
Yeah, it's hard to pick out, but
Oh, Pantheon. You can't forget about Pantheon.
yeah. I mean, that Pantheon also looks, like I said, it's my number one, but I mean, even if it doesn't end up being like the best coaster of next year, I still think it looks incredible. So can't go wrong there.
I wonder who would actually win, Velocicoaster or Pantheon?
It'll be an interesting debate for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure if Pantheon really delivers, I'm sure it's going to be a divided one. So, yeah. So that should be fascinating.
Yep.
And then, is there anything else you wanted to mention before I close this one out?
Well, the Knott's Berry Farm Giga Coaster.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. I'm really hoping it comes to fruition. I really think it is. They need it so bad too, but that's exciting.
Yeah, it would just soar over the skyline.
Yeah, I mean,
My
it would. Oh wait, no, you go. My bad.
uh, my only concern, however, is the residents nearby.
Yeah, they had. It's funny with that park. It's like, why would you move there if you're worried about noise? Like, why would you move next to there? Knott's has already been around for over 100 years. Like, you knew it was there. So I always question that whenever there's complaints. But like, it's certainly something to consider for sure.
Well, amusement parks have had a long history of that. Even in the
Yeah.
1970s, they did. I know of an amusement park that actually had noise complaints all the way back in the 70s.
Wow.
It was one in Indiana, I believe, but that's pretty much all I know.
Interesting. I get it more if the park was built after you moved there, then it was already there before you moved. Like if that happened, then I'm just kind of like I can't really justify that, but whatever.
Yeah, that's what caused the original Elish Gardens to shut down.
Yeah, and it might move again. So,
Yeah. Well, that was pretty much all.
alrighty. Thank you so much for coming on. Talking about Air Force One, Knott's Giga Coaster, your predictions. We'll have to see about Alabama Adventure and Knobles. But great to have you on again.
Yeah, hope that comment goes.
Yeah. Already see ya.
Alright, see ya.
Alrighty. So thank you so much, Imperial Coasters, for coming on. JB Thrills, you are next. Let me know in chat if you are good. And then we'll be ready to go. So current order, there's actually quite a few people in here, so great. And actually, if someone in chat like actually needs to go quicker, then let me know if you're on limited time. That way I can kind of do that because right now we have JB Thrills, Insane Coaster Junkie, Parse, Chaos, Dalton Ice, and Theme Park Guy Productions is the current order of things. So that's the order of things here. So, but yeah, okay, JB Thrills, you're ready. So I'm gonna bring you on in 3, 2, 1. JB Thrills, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Doing great. Awesome to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So I'll do the same thing as I did with Imperial Coasters, with news reactions, just things that have happened within the past few months. What are some of the things that you've seen that have either intrigued or surprised you?
Well, to start, honestly, I'm very surprised with the Knott's Giga because, it's Knott's Berry Farm. So it's very, very surprising and intriguing too.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, for sure. I cannot believe it as someone who has gone there quite a bit. So yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, because, Knott's Berry Farm is a pretty small theme park, and to fit a Giga, that pretty much goes to show that any theme park can get a Giga as long as they have the money for it.
Yeah, and utilize their space creatively, like Knott's is doing, because they did really have to do some weird stuff if they are gonna get it. So that's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. And then the other news is definitely Six Flags' major changes with the CEO and the most recent news of Ron McKenzie at Over Texas, which is honestly very sad for me because Over Texas is my home park. So it's very surprising.
Yeah, like I said, I heard about that earlier. Before you told me it was confirmed and I looked into it, I was treating it as a rumor, but I am shocked that he is no longer park president. Don't know what would have happened, but I hope whatever he does moving forward, I hope he gets another opportunity elsewhere moving forward, and I know he'll do a fantastic job wherever he is. So respects to him.
Yeah, definitely for sure. The only thing that questions me is what's going to happen with Aquaman and Pirates because it's not done yet. So we'll see if Ron McKenzie's ideas is still in there or the new park president takes control of it. So yeah.
I'd expect it still goes. I think that transition takes a little longer than, like, in terms of the other person implementing the ideas. I
Yeah.
think they still kind of move forward. which is kind of why back when what was his name, John Duffy, when he took over and everyone got mad at him for all the new attractions, I was kind of like, I don't really think it's actually his fault, but but he was
Yeah.
the scapegoat. So I think those things still go according to plan, but it is certainly something to note and think about moving forward.
Yeah, most definitely.
Alrighty, so any other news, or would you like to move on to the predictions? I know you do plenty of them, so
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, I think we should move on. I mean, that's pretty much the news that I've got an opinion of anyway. So
alrighty, so predictions. You can do how like I guess I'll limit it at like 4 predictions, but what are some predictions you have for the future, just in the amusement industry, just really anything?
well, to start, we have Knott's Berry Farm's Giga. Honestly, I predict that it actually will happen despite the residency problem. Because Knott's Berry Farm has been around for a while, especially more than 100 years. So I think they'll solve the issue pretty easily. And as for the Giga, since they don't really know its name or theme yet, I'm gonna go with a bold prediction. And honestly, I was thinking this through, but I think its name will be Knott's Barnstormer or Barnstormer. And it's just a really random
Interesting.
prediction, but it's like, I don't know.
Have a prediction for the color scheme, or
Um, I would say red and brown because they don't have like I mean they have accelerator, but red just like shows off more, especially in the landscape.
interesting? Yeah, red coaster would fit there certainly. I myself am hoping for a purple coaster. It would fit so nicely with the boys, what not the boysenberry, their berry they have.
Oh,
That would fit in
definitely.
so nicely. So that's my hope, but maybe red is the move.
Or maybe
Um,
it's purple track with red cars.
yeah, yeah, that would work too. Yep.
And
So
as for its name prediction, that's mostly because lately I had to study a bunch of Knott's Berry Farm history for my documentary that I'm making.
oh sick.
So I found like a pattern of how Knott's loves its history a lot, and because the Giga's in a new area of the park, not necessarily in Ghost Town, it can definitely be like a barn area of the park, and possibly giving like a theme of an airplane.
Interesting. Good luck on the documentary, by the way. Those things take a while, so I'll
Yeah,
check it
for
out when it
real.
releases. So that's awesome.
Thanks.
Let
Yeah, and then
and
oh my bad.
no, you're good. You go.
Well, my second prediction is that Six Flags. Well, I don't know about now, but before Six Flags could look like becoming a better chain overall instead of the same repetition of being a discount chain, and instead will be like Cedar Fair, maybe even better depending on the management.
Ooh, interesting. I don't know if they'll fully go there. I know they were kind of going that direction. Well, it'll be interesting to see if that comes to fruition, but that would be interesting.
Definitely interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I guess we'll move on to your most anticipated new coasters coming next year. These can either be ones that you're thinking you're potentially riding or just in general. 3 most anticipated coasters for next year for you.
I'm gonna go with a realistic option, like one that I could actually travel to this year, and I would say number one, definitely Doctor Diabolical's Cliffhanger because it's not that far away. So, and I could definitely get to it during opening. So that's nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And number two, probably Wonder Woman Golden Lasso Coaster, or not Golden Lasso Coaster,
Flight of
Flight of
Courage.
Courage.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
It's hard for me to get used to too. I said that
yeah.
also.
I know they look so similar too. So yeah, Flight of Courage definitely. And the third one is Aquaman Power Wave, of course, the one going to my home park. So that's very, very awesome to see, especially with the new turntable that's coming to the ride and the themed queue line.
Nice. Yeah. Interesting. You're in Texas, correct? So,
Yes.
no palindrome?
Um, Usually I would have put Palindrome on the list, but then I realized, Palindrome is in Austin, and of course it's in a theme park that could charge a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, like Iron Shark and Pleasure Pier in Galveston, that one cost a lot, and that was just one ride. So
Wow.
I'll be very surprised if Palindrome is cheap, but it might be like a very high pricey fee for a very short ride. But it's definitely number 4 for me.
That is actually interesting. Yeah, actually, I guess that park is pay per ride. Off the top of my head, I guess it is. That is interesting. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yep, and it's in Austin, which is pretty much the Las Vegas of Texas. So yeah,
So everything's expensive, and it's right by a racetrack.
yep,
Wow. Hopefully I can't. I wonder what the wristband would be once this thing's open.
yeah, it'll be
Um,
insane.
but good top three there. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
I guess just that I think 2022 could be a very surprising year for the theme park industry. Lots of major announcements, lots of major rides opening, and honestly, I'm really looking forward to this year. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, with 2023, I've heard that it's going to be probably a crazy year. So because of that, we're probably going to get a lot of crazy announcements this year. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome to have you on. And yeah, so I guess see you later.
See you later, and thank you for having me on.
Of course. Alrighty, so huge thanks to JB Thrills for coming on. It is going to be interesting to see the new changes that come with the new Six Flags management, and obviously Six Flags Over Texas changing presidents is a pretty big deal. So that is something to look at for sure. And the Knott's coaster color scheme, I think that's an interesting discussion just because it's going to be such a big coaster for the park. All right, Insane Coaster Junkie. You're right. All right. Well, there we go. So, 3, 2, 1. How you doing?
Well, hello. It's a pleasure to meet you. Glad you can invite me on the stream tonight.
Absolutely. Jay, right? That's your
Yeah, that's correct.
name. Okay, good. So if you're fine with that, I'll call you that from now on.
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'll do what I did with my previous two guests. I'll ask, is there any news or announcements that came within the last few months that either intrigued or surprised you?
I got 2 or 3 in my mind, and the biggest one is obviously the Blue Streak fire that just recently happened. As Blue Streak and Conneaut Lake Park as a whole is one of my home parks. I'm a Waldemar native, so when this news hit me, it hit me pretty hard, which Blue Streak is an underrated classic wooden coaster I've been riding for quite a few years now, gotten to feel. And when Todd Joseph bought the park in March 2021, I kind of signaled this was the beginning of the end for the park. I did not really have much trust. I went in August of last year and saw for myself, and the park was not up to par as I've seen it before. And just seeing Blue Streak, SB&O, is an eyesore. So when I got the news that he was illegally demolishing the ride without a permit, might I add, it's just pathetic. He is a horrible owner, probably going down as one of the worst park owners in history, like Dick Kenzel, if I have to compare it. But yeah, that's 2 defunct credits in 4 months for me.
Wow. That is unfortunate. That is, yeah, this whole story, like with Todd Joseph and how he's been treating the park, it's very sad to see, and hopefully something that we don't see repeat itself for a very long time.
Yeah, and how the park tried to treat it and handle the situation on social media.
Yes.
When the park started disabling comments, because this is not the first time they've done that. They've done that since Todd Joseph started as owner. And I don't know what they were thinking about that with the whole, well, we're going to disable comments. so we don't have any backlash, but that just adds fuel to the fire, if you know what I mean.
You know it's bad when you're like an amusement park. You're supposed to be a place where people are having fun, and you have to disable your own comments on social media.
It's just pathetic.
It's bad.
And even when I visited in August, the security guard was like, "Do not bash on the park." And I'm like, "I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm filming videos." And he said that was okay, but not okay to bash on it, which I wasn't. But now we know what's happened. But I'm just completely devastated to lose a home park. Thankfully, I got Waldemar that I can trust, but to have a park close to home like that going away like that is just horrible.
Yeah, I mean that is one of the more crazy storylines of this year. Very tragic and such a classic park too, and obviously Blue Streak being a classic coaster. Never got the opportunity to go out there, but just it's devastating to see that all happen. Just insanity. Was there any other news? Topics?
The other one I had was the Knots Giga, my little feed in this discussion. I've seen many channels put their input in, and I kind of agree and disagree in some regards. Like the pros, obviously, this is a huge marketing tool. There's not a legit good hyper and or giga west of the Mississippi. And they can market this as the tallest, fastest, longest coaster in California. And the huge marketing appeal it might have, which is already more than one. And I've ridden 2 of the 3 gigas in North America. So from personal experience, I think this would be a fantastic ride to the park. However, my main concern is the noise complaints. We've seen that with Ghost Rider with the scream tunnels, but I'm not sure if that's enough.
Yeah, the noise is going to be interesting. I know they can like sand the tubes rather than the box, which would be more ideal to try to help out, but I don't think it would work. That would probably work enough. So it is interesting in that sense. And then for me, having been to the park so many times, Ghost Rider right now is by far and away the most popular coaster. They need anything to get people to basically like disperse the lines a little bit, and that would be like perfect. So it's a really good fit, but yeah, the concerns are certainly something.
And from personal experience, when I went to Leviathan of Canada's Wonderland, which is a perfect comparison with a metropolitan area, even with Leviathan being in that area of Vaughan, Ontario, it is still quite a loud coaster, even from my 9 rides on it. So I don't like that is more commercial and Knott's is more residential, but I could see this being a major complaint for the residents around the area, especially within maybe a 1 mile radius. And kind of like the old fishhook coaster that was proposed for the Stratosphere Hotel, this is kind of where I'm getting my vibes from again. You have a big coaster, and then you have a bunch of noise complaints that might eventually come to fruition and say, hey, this is not the best fit.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. The only thing I will say with Leviathan is there were noise complaints, but they sanded the coaster after it was built, which meant they couldn't put it in the tubes. El Toro Ryan did a really good video on this.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, so it's still going to cause noise, but theoretically, if they can sand it before it's like actually full, like constructed, put it in those little tubes, that should help out and be better than if they put it in the box, because it should keep it from vibrating where it's supposed to, or at least not nearly as much. But for anyone who is looking into that, I highly recommend that video. But even still, there's going to be problems.
Yeah, I would recommend
agree.
like a decibel counter just to test that from various angles, just as as a test pilot before even going through with this.
Yeah, I think that would be wise. Let's see.
Yeah, that's all the news I got.
So then predictions for amusement industry.
All right, I got 3 up my sleeve for tonight's stream, and if any of my bread fans are watching, which I highly doubt, but anyway, my first one is going to be an obvious nod to my home park, Waldemar. Here is, when is Waldemar going to get an RMC Raptor? I've been saying this for years at this point, but there is strong evidence that can back up this claim. This kind of goes to last offseason where Waldemar started putting RMC-like comments, like really making changes, which sparks the Richard Michael Crosby really more coming stuff that Cedar Fair did for the Twisted Timbers and Steel Vengeance. Obviously, I'm not saying a hybrid because Ravine Flyer 2 is perfect, but an RMC Raptor would just work at this park. They don't have a coaster that goes upside down. Their largest steel coaster is literally a Mauer spinner. And I'm just dying to see a new coaster. We kind of were in the right step of direction with Chaos with the pendulum ride. So I feel like they need to add down that way the south in the park and put that there. So that's prediction number 1. Most of my fans will know that prediction by heart. Number 2, Cedar Point. I'm going to throw this one.
All right.
I don't think they're going to get a massive coaster to celebrate that 150th anniversary.
At this point, it's pretty late, so...
I think it's just a bunch of malarkey at this point. We haven't seen construction, and with the recent fall of Wicked Twister and the antique cars, which I don't know how that rumor got into the fray.
Oh, yeah, that's just becoming a restaurant. The cattle, whatever it was that got removed, yeah.
Yeah, which I don't know why they would even think of that. Even measuring the land was just awful. But even if they get a new coaster, they're probably going to have to remove a lot more to add. So I don't even see even a Wicked Twister replacement.
Interesting. I mean, well, it's very interesting with that park because obviously you have all the speculation around it. Everyone's like, what's the next big thing? And it seems like we may be waiting a little bit for really another new coaster period. So
yeah, think of the gap between Maverick and Gatekeeper, for example.
Exactly, 6 years, right? Or
yeah, that's correct. And my last prediction, I'm going to go to my home Six Flags Parks, Darien Lake, for this one. They just removed Grizzly Run, their Intamin River Rapids ride. So I'm saying some sort of a expansion there, a la new coaster of some sort. I have a couple predictions, but this is Six Flags, so I'm going to be a little conservative here. But I am saying maybe an SNS 40 free spin for that area. They could possibly start adding, DC, but I highly doubt that.
Yeah, probably not at this point.
But a 40 free spin could work well at this park.
Yeah, it would make sense there for sure.
Yeah, so when I look at Six Flags Theory, I'm like, what's the best Six Flags style thing to do? Do you RMC Predator? Do you get a cookie cutter clone? I think the cookie cutter clone is just the safe way.
Yeah, especially because it's a park they just bought not too long ago, so they probably want to, if they put in a coaster, it'll probably be something a little safer, so makes sense. And then, yeah, that was your predictions. And then for most anticipated new coasters coming next year, either ones that maybe you're riding or just in general, what are the top 3 for you?
Yeah, so I'm not sure on my plans yet, since usually I don't predict till later on in the off season. So I'm just gonna throw a couple I've maybe ridden. But first is Steel Curtain at Kennywood, which I haven't got to ride that coaster yet. I was a month short of riding it, because I went in June 2019, so I went at the worst possible time. But Steel Curtain is an intriguing SNS Hyperlooper, which that thing looks incredible. But the only problem I have is the roughness that bars me from ranking it higher as a prediction.
Nice. Yeah, Steel Curtain looks super fascinating, so I can see that. And I guess so you're looking at coasters that like you're potentially riding next year, all right? Because the last
possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyone afterwards can do that too. That probably works better actually.
I'm gonna throw a wild card at this one. Because this is nearby, but I'm gonna throw the Vekoma Wild Mouse at Idlewild into this.
Oh, nice.
Because I
That's
have
a
never been
cool
to
credit.
Idlewild. My friend Alex, who is also on my channel, those are his home parks in the Pittsburgh area. And the most intriguing thing about Idlewild, in my honest opinion, is Wild Mouse because of the tilt and lift hill and how just wonky that thing is.
Yeah, it's super weird.
And then number 3, I'm just going to go on the wild card here because it is ICJ tradition. It is Ravine Flyer 2 as always.
Ah, there you go.
Just for a little bit of home park advantage for laughs and giggles, but in all seriousness, Ravine Flyer 2 is something special in my heart. I'm actually on pace to get my 1,000th lifetime ride this summer.
Oh, wow, that's sick.
I'm at 820 currently. So I will be getting 1,000 at this season. Last year I got 225 rides, so I'm itching for 300 this year.
Yeah, that would be quite the accomplishment.
It's always been tradition to ride it a couple hundred times.
Yeah, that is incredible. I don't count I do credit count. I don't do how many times I've ridden a coaster because I'm not too close to any specific park. But
Yeah.
for those of you,
Valkenier is
that's
just a home
sick.
park I can mess around with. I went all out last year and counted every single ride at the park I've ridden, how many
Wow.
times. So just trying to throw some extra stuff in the fray.
That's cool. 1,000 rides. That for me, that's unfathomable because I probably haven't even done any single coaster like 25 times, probably. So, but yeah, that's cool. Anything else you want to mention? Before we...
I'm just going to shameless plug here, but if you've never seen Insane Coaster Junkie, hi, I'm Jay. But go subscribe. We are on pace for 3,000
Yes.
subscribers. We're almost there. We're about 160 away.
Nice.
So hashtag road to 3K.
Awesome.
And with that, it was nice being on the stream with you tonight. Glad we had a good discussion.
Yeah, for sure. As you said, make sure to check out Insane Coaster Junkie if you haven't already. Close to 3K, big milestone. So that's awesome. Appreciate you coming on, Jay. Great
You
to have
too.
you on. I really hope Valkenier, they get their new coasters soon. Hope an RMC Raptor would be sick. But awesome to have you on
Yeah, you too.
already. Like I said, thank you so much. And see ya.
Goodbye.
Oh, okay, shoot. I meant to remove it and accidentally did something else. All right, so once again, thanks Insane Coaster Junkie Jay for coming on. Valkenier. Hopefully they get a new coaster soon. That would be so sick. All right, so Parse, if you are ready to go, then we'll do that. And then it'll be Theme Park Guide Productions, Civilian Satellite, Chaos. Did you exit and come back in? So, and Dalton Ice is the thing right now. I just saw OK Coasters. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot. And awesome to see you in the chat here. Really awesome. All right. Ready? You're nervous? Oh, don't be nervous. But I'll give you a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How you doing?
I'm doing good today. How are you?
Doing good. Let's see. As I did with the first few, do you have any news reactions or announcements that you found interesting or were surprised with that happened within the last few months, I guess?
To start off with, I'm really just devastated that my Six Flags Great Adventure, which is about 3 hours away, and their El Toro, which is one of my favorite roller coasters, did derail a couple months ago, and that is just devastating for me. And I hope it can get fixed by 2022.
Yeah, I mean, when that happened, shook up really the entire community. Something you never want to see happen. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but just something for that, like that to happen at such a big park and for such a legendary coaster is very like kind of nerve-wracking. So I understand that for sure, especially if that's your home park. I mean, that is devastating.
Well, it's not really my home park, but it is one of my favorite parks so far. And actually, I think that's pretty much all for that topic. So next, I just want to point out in Universal Studios that Revenge of the Mummy is currently getting rethemed. Actually, no, it's not getting rethemed, but there are going to be some changes in the ride, like a retrack, and there might be some slight changes in the queue with the video. There's some information that there might be some changes in the video because some the mummy stuff in the like I don't know how to explain is going to be changed, and I wonder how that's going to turn now.
My understanding of it is what I've heard for Revenge of the Mummy. That's the one you mentioned, correct?
Yes.
They apparently what they're doing is like the movie. Like I guess I haven't ridden the coaster, but supposedly it's like there's like a part where it's like it's supposed to be a movie set. Supposedly they're getting rid of that because it was too confusing for just people trying to follow the story. Dalton Ice, I see you. Although I don't, I'll keep note of that. But yeah, and is that it for the news or anything else?
There's just one more thing that I need to point out at the news, and is that actually I think that's all.
Alrighty then. We'll move on to predictions. Do you have any predictions for the amusement industry? Limit of 4, as I mentioned earlier, but do you have any?
Yes, I have about 2 to 3 predictions. The first one is at Cedar Point that it was kind of sad that Wicked Twister got removed, and so I think there might be some speculation about an SNS Access coaster going in the spot because it's pretty compact, and it's also like a good fit for the park.
Yeah, an Axis, like just because of how compact it is, that would be really cool to see and it would be really different. My only concern would be capacity, but Wicked Twister wasn't high capacity ride, so if they put that in as a replacement, I could see that working out. That would make sense.
They could put it somewhere else also.
Yeah, but spiritual replacement, I suppose.
Another prediction that I have is that this probably won't ever happen, but Hershey Park might just get a Giga. They just might.
Ooh, that one I have a harder time seeing. It would be incredible, but man, that would be like probably pretty far down the line if they did. But man, that would be that would be hard to imagine for me. But who knows?
You know, if they actually remove Wildcat and some other stuff by it, there could be a small rumor that they might be a small Giga. Is that possible?
I haven't heard of such a rumor. If I were someone looking to add things to Hershey Park, I don't think that's the route I would go. Granted, I'm not like a true expert. And I actually, Hershey does have a height restriction. Canopy Coaster just brought it up. Also, thank you, Andre, for the congrats. So maybe they could get around it, but I think if you're Hershey Park, you have to look at getting more different types of coasters, different seating positions, maybe flying axis, something like that. Because I think they're lacking in that department, but who knows what could happen.
All right, that's pretty much all for my predictions.
Alrighty. And then I guess change this up a bit. So most anticipated new coasters either coming next year in general or most anticipated coasters that are new for you riding that you're riding next to your top 3.
So I am 3 hours away from Busch Gardens, and I am literally totally excited for Pantheon to open, which is going to be the world's tallest and fastest multi-launch coaster. And I can't believe they actually built a Busch Gardens, Virginia. It's like a really well-known state in the USA, and well, they just made it there. So they're adding great stuff every single year.
Yeah, it's I mean that, and then we have the leaked Dark Castle coaster, which once again I don't know if that's confirmed to really be happening, but they are getting a lot of good new stuff, and Pantheon looks incredible. What are your other 2 coasters?
I also have another rumor about another coaster that I actually forgot of. Can you give me just a moment to think of that for a sec?
Sure, yeah. Let me make sure.
All right, 1 sec.
Yeah, I'm just looking through upcoming viewers just to make sure things are going good.
All right, I got it.
Alrighty.
So I am really surprised. I will be really surprised if that Project Penguin coaster, if that's what it's called, is going to be conferred for SeaWorld, because next year we're probably going to travel there and we might just check out SeaWorld, and it might be a big banger in the park if it actually does get built.
my assumption would be it would be a 2023 coaster, but yeah, I do think it'll happen. I think the bigger question for me is, would it be 2023, 2024? I think it'll be 2023, but that, I mean, if it's happening is a mystery currently still, so who knows?
All right, I think I have one more. Can I just please think about the last one for just a sec?
Sure, sure. Let me look at chat.
Okay, so I am ready for the last one.
Alrighty.
You see, this one is really underrated, but it's Tron at Disney World, and it's pretty much an exact same clone of the one in China, and it's been really like underrated in the last years. But I really think that it will be a great add to Magic Kingdom because they didn't really have that much of thrilling roller coasters at the park. I mean, they do, but not for really the adults, and this might be just a great upgrade for it. Plus the theming.
Yeah, Tron, looking at it, like out of all the Disney coasters that currently exist that I haven't ridden,
It's the most futuristic.
yeah, for sure, and it's one of my most anticipated for sure. I respect that. I think at this point we're looking at a 2023 opening. That seems to be what I've been hearing. That's not confirmed, but that's what I've heard. Yeah, it looks fantastic, so I understand that one.
All right, that should be all for today. And I just have one more question for you.
Sure.
What is your favorite Six Flags park?
So I've been to 3 of them: Magic Mountain, Mexico, Discovery Kingdom, and that is the order of my favorite to least favorite. Magic Mountain, my favorite, is my favorite one. The coaster collection is incredible, even if I don't necessarily like some other things about it.
And what is your favorite coaster at Magic Mountain? I guess it's probably Twisted. Oh, sorry, I
No.
just lost my words.
It's actually X2, but Twisted Colossus is up there for me, for sure.
I knew it.
Yeah.
So my favorite park currently is gonna be Six Flags Great Adventure. With all those great roller coasters, I think it's a really almost a knock out of the ballpark for me. It's just a great park that everyone can enjoy in New Jersey.
Yeah, it looks super fun. I actually could have went there in 2017, but it would have been difficult to do, so I had to opt for Hershey Park. But yeah, it looks great.
You know, you should go there next in 2022. I bet you will have a great time.
I don't think I'm going to New Jersey next year, but it's something that like it would be great to go there in the near future. So I'll definitely keep it in mind. But is there anything else you want to say before I wrap this one up?
No, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for coming on.
I'll see you soon.
Already see ya. Alrighty, so there we go. Parse, I should have asked the name. But thank you so much for coming on. Six Flags Great Adventure. I really want to go sometime soon. That's something I'm really looking forward to. I saw Dalton Ice sent something, but I don't see him anymore. So if that isn't happening, then I'll go to Theme Park Guide Productions. Oh wait. So is Quackin' Dalton Ice? Let me know, because if that's the case, then I'll go with you first, because I did see that. Okay, yes, okay. So I'll give you a 5-second countdown, Quackin'. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yes, audio is good.
All right, perfect. So I want to say congratulations on 2,000 subscribers. That's obviously a pretty good milestone for you.
Thank you so much. Really was awesome to reach it when I did, so I really appreciate that. But as I did with my previous guests, news reactions, announcement reactions, just from the last few months, what has surprised or intrigued you the most?
So regarding some of the news, obviously very devastated with what happened with Connie at Lake Park and the fire with Blue Streak. Um, never got the chance to go, but it looked like I personally was morbidly curious about that ride. I heard it was pretty brutal, but I know I know it meant a lot to the locals there. So obviously seeing something that was torn down, and from my understanding, it was torn down illegally, so and burned down. So very disappointed with that. And um, as for some of the other news, speaking of Knott's Giga, which is I'm guessing it's pretty close to you. I guess you're living in California.
Yeah, it's like 4 hours from me because I live in the middle of it, so I'm not
Oh,
really
okay.
close to anything.
Oops.
Yeah,
Oops,
2.5
size
hours
large.
from Magic Mountain.
But speaking of Knott's Giga, I would like to see it happen. I think it would be a great fit because obviously when I went in 2016, Ghost Rider had a hour and a half long line all day. So I think
Yep.
anything to disperse the crowds would be fantastic. Um, granted, well, I should say it had an hour and a half long line both days I was at Knott's. So, I mean, anything to disperse the crowds a little bit. And having a B&M Giga would be a perfect crowd pleaser. So I think it's a perfect move by Cedar Fair if they follow through with it. And if it gets approved, that'd be a big thumbs up for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even if I, for some reason, didn't like this edition in terms of the actual coaster, which I mean, I'm not. It's a Giga, so I really want to see it, and I'm excited for it. But even if it was like a ride I wasn't super excited for, just the fact that it can take away the crowds, hopefully from Ghost Rider, is enough of a reason to bring it in. So
Honestly. And combine that
yeah,
with the really bad operations that I experienced on Ghost Rider. Even though the ride was incredible, the operations were really slow.
yeah, they generally are pretty slow, unfortunately. So it's kind of how it is. Any other news, or do you want to move on to predictions?
Um, can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Those are the only two that came to mind.
Alrighty then. So predictions. Do you have any predictions for anything you could see in the amusement industry for the future?
Um, I've been saying this for years and questioning when will it happen. And this is regarding an RMC Raptor coming to Six Flags St. Louis. I'm thinking, they removed Tidal Wave, so they have that empty plot of land in the back of the park that's just sitting there. And I'm thinking, it's honestly like beating a dead horse at this point. When is it actually going to happen? I'm hopeful that maybe 2023 is the year. I mean, they did give us a new slogan, Gateway to Thrills, so they didn't give it to us for no reason, I guess.
Six Flags St. Louis, you said?
Yeah, that's being that I live in Missouri, that's the closest Six Flags park to me, and I think it would be a great fit for the park.
You guys need something over there. I mean, the last time you got a coaster, uh, Boomerang was it? And that was a
Yeah,
relocation?
yeah, that was relocated from over Texas,
Yeah,
so that
that
was a.
that's brutal.
It's been a while for us. I mean, Six Flags really hasn't paid much attention to it, but I mean, in our defense, it is one of the nicer looking parks in the chain, I guess.
I've heard about that, so that's good.
Yeah,
I really hope it gets something soon.
yeah, especially having the experience of going to now 13 out of the 15 parks in the chain, I can
Wow.
safely say it definitely is one of the nicer ones, especially compared to like Discovery Kingdom, which when I was there was kind of a mess.
Same.
Honest, I mean, I went there in 2016 and had a pretty unfortunate experience. It's not good.
I can tell you that as of 2019, it's still a bit of a mess, and I heard last year was just brutal. So, yeah,
At least they don't have
um,
Harley Quinn anymore.
yeah, that's true.
Credit I'll never
uh,
get, which I'm not too disappointed on.
I saw that thing run, and that was it. So, there you go. Let's see. So then do you have any like anticipated new coasters coming next year? Either or ones that you're writing next year, it could be also.
Okay. So me and my family will be taking a family vacation to Florida, and there's a lot of good stuff opening up there this year. And I'll finally get on Velocicoaster, which I feel like I'll be the last person on Earth to ride it, but it'll be worth it, I'm sure. I've heard rave reviews about that. And then, obviously, while I'm there, I'll be able to ride Guardians of the Galaxy. Will be there. I'll be hitting up all 4 of the Disney parks, which will be fun. And then there's Iron Gwazi, there's Icebreaker opening up there next year. Hopefully I'll get out there. And then another one, it's possible I could go to the Virginia parks as well. So there's Pantheon, and I haven't been on Twisted Timbers yet, so that'd be fun. I know that's more than 3, but I do have quite a few good stuff that I'm hoping to get on this year.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of good coasters. Like yeah, I can totally see why you mentioned all of them. I mean, those are like really good. So, hope that you're able to get on most, if not all of them. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful. I mean, one of the things I like to tell people is just to work hard and to plan smart, and that's what I've done with how I've been able to travel around us so much.
That's awesome. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
I mean, I think we covered everything. I know I kind of had to come on here pretty quickly, but yeah, me and my
No
wife
problem.
are having dinner, so we'll have to come on here a little quicker than anticipated, but really happy to come on here.
Well, have fun at dinner. Great to have you come on. And I guess I'll see you later.
Yeah, definitely. Really enjoy watching your live streams, so keep it up the good work.
Thank you so much. Alrighty, see ya.
All right, see ya.
Alrighty. There is the Quacken. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, Six Flags St. Louis gets a new coaster soon. Desperately needs it. So, certainly rooting for that. And, yeah, we're going to be moving on to our next person, which I have it Theme Park Guide Productions and Civilian Satellite. That's how it's there for me. So, Zach, if you're ready, alrighty. So I'll give it into a 3, 2, 1. How you doing?
Hello there. Welcome to our transdimensional jaw ride, folks. I am Dr. Seeker, your friendly controller, and a heck of a paleontologist, if I do say so myself. Sorry, I just had to do a really funny intro. How you doing, Carrick?
I'm doing good. Repping the Disney hat. Love it. Or Mickey ears, yeah.
For like my first ever coaster time periods, gotta rock the hat.
Nice. So first things first, news reactions for the last few months. Anything that has surprised or intrigued you?
So actually, yes, there's actually quite a bit. So around Florida, if you guys don't know, I'm Theme Park Guide Productions. Well, I'm Zach. I run a YouTube channel called Theme Park Guide Productions. Also an Instagram account, which I do live photography and all that. It's mostly Florida based, but I've gone to like Ohio, just went to California as well. I go to Maryland a lot. So like, yeah, you have a good variety of content. But when it comes to news that is surprising the most is actually over at Epcot, believe it or not. So there's a ride there called Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I'm pretty sure y'all heard of it. And so recently, like when they opened it back up, they used a virtual queue. However, I think it's on the 10th. They're getting rid of it.
Yep, I did see that. Didn't quite make the news roundup, but yes, they are removing it. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, like I know a lot of like the Disney news and stuff. Like that's actually like public. I'm not gonna go into any like secret details or anything like that because I'm a cast member. So yeah, and then also Tron Light Cycle Power Run. I think someone mentioned it earlier. It is supposed to be getting delayed over to 2023.
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Yeah, I think I actually predicted that last year. I believe it 2021.
Yeah, oh no, sorry. My bad. You go.
Also, over Universal, they just closed the Mummy. We all pretty sure you know that. Then over at SeaWorld, Kraken was spotted testing. If you follow Logan from One Ops, he spotted that today, and yeah, it's testing again. So it's supposed to open sometime this weekend.
Following the repaint, right?
Mm-hmm. And then speaking of repaints, at Busch Gardens Tampa, Montu's just closed for its repaint.
Yep. A lot of ride refurbishments down in Florida that are either coming soon or already happening, so it's crazy.
Yes, especially at Disney, the Expedition Everest, which I'm still sad.
Yeah. Till April, right?
Yeah, mid-April. And the
Oh
thing
my
is, I have a lot of
God.
friends that work at that ride.
Wow. Yeah, that is
So they've
crazy.
they've gone cross-trained over at Cali River Rapids, which I mean I think is personally underrated. No, I don't know why everyone hates that ride.
Yeah, I hear it getting slandered on a lot, but I haven't ridden it myself, but it looks fun.
So I'm good for the next topic.
Alrighty, predictions for the future. Anything
my-
in the amusement industry?
So my predictions for the future is that Iron Gwazi is going to open in like mid-March. That's my prediction. Because here's the thing: we know Iceberger's opening date is February 18th, but take into account like Iceberger's date, Iron Gwazi's date, because I did see from someone's Instagram story that the blackout date is like in spring break. So I'm like, maybe Iron Gwazi will open then. And then also some of my predictions is that let's see here. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
You're good.
Let's see here. Also, one of my predictions as well is that over at Universal Orlando, if you guys don't know, Shrek's closing.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be replaced, believe it or not, with that DreamWorks theater attraction over at Universal in California.
Yeah,
Did you experience that, Carrick?
I have not yet. I haven't been to Universal Hollywood in a hot second. So I haven't done Secret Life, I haven't done Jurassic World, and I have not done the new theater. By the time I go back, Super Nintendo World will probably be open. So
yeah, apparently that park is like one of the most expensive in the world.
Yes, it is. It's stupid expensive. I looked into it. Because we were thinking of maybe going, but it was like $127 to go.
For a ticket?
And it's Universal Hollywood. It's Universal Hollywood. It doesn't have all that much, all things considered. So, yeah.
I mean, that is a little pricey for a ticket. Isn't it more expensive than Disneyland?
Depending on the day you go, yes. In fact, in that instance, I think Disneyland was like a teeny bit more expensive, but it was like, okay, like, what are we going to pick? I mean, yeah, so.
And then also another prediction that I have, I know we limit 4 predictions, but so my third one is also over at Same Park, Universal Studios Florida, that whole kids area, I'm thinking like, so over at Curious George Goes to Town, I think they're going to close that pretty soon and put in that Secret Life of Pets, either over at Curious George or in the Barney area. Because like after riding at California, I'm just like, that's actually a pretty good addition. It's like spaces I could actually see it going over to is either Curious George, Barney, or Fear Factor, which would be next to Men in Black.
Interesting. I know that the one here in Hollywood is like really close to Minion Mayhem, so I don't know how close any of those are to that Minion Mayhem. I think they tried to make it as close as possible, but maybe not. Maybe they don't care as much because they're both Illumination properties. But
maybe they could actually do that over at like Despicable Me, like where Shrek used to be. I think.
It's right by there. Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yes,
they could actually do something like that and kind of theme that like Secret Life of Pets. But it'll be weird because you'd have Secret Life of Pets literally next to Transformers.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Rockets like in the back somewhere.
Yeah, that would be weird.
And then my final prediction is that over at Universal Studios, you're
good. Go for it.
So over at Universal, like the Revenge of the Mummy. So we all thinking like, what are they gonna do with the Mummy? What I'm thinking is actually, if you watched a video of the Universal Singapore edition, I think that's what they're going to do to the Mummy here in Florida.
Not as familiar with that exactly, but I guess anyone who knows about it, they know, and anyone who doesn't can do a little more research.
I'm going to miss the Brendan Fraser cup of coffee quote.
RIP. Yeah, I know.
It closed on my birthday.
Oh, man.
Yesterday was my birthday.
Oof. Yeah, yep. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. I actually do have a vlog coming out pretty soon, so I'm gonna be like posting that. Like my last reaction on Mummy Shrek. It's essentially like kind of a vlog. If you guys don't like subscribe to my channel, I do a lot of vlogs, kind of like the Tim Tracker or Bricks Flicks, kind of like that.
Yeah, so anyone in chat who hasn't checked out Theme Park Guy Productions, either on YouTube or Instagram, make sure to do that. The next thing I have is most anticipated. You can either do new coasters coming next year that just in general you're writing, or just most anticipated coasters you're writing this year, and they don't necessarily have to be new. So either one of those you can do. And your top 3 basically.
Okay, so my top coaster next year, that I know I'm gonna be riding. I'll go into some that are actually just kind of anticipated, like after my top 3. But over my top coaster is probably Iron Gwazi, just because I've ridden the original Gwazi and I absolutely enjoyed it, which is weird because I was like really young. I know a lot of people hated it, but I kind of have a higher tolerance when it comes to rough wind coasters. So like when I last rode it when I was like 13 years old, I was sad.
Yeah.
Literally, I said to the guests that were like in front of me, because I was in the back row, I'm like, that is not rough.
Wow.
So Iron Gwazi, I mean, just look at that thing. You just gotta look at it. You gotta look at the structure. It just looks insane. And Steel Vengeance is my number 1 roller coaster.
Yeah, mine too. So there you go.
Hey, twins.
Yeah, there you go.
And then number 2 actually might surprise some people, but Guardians over at Epcot.
I could see that.
Because Guardians, here's the thing with Guardians. It's just, we have no idea what to expect. And some of the Disney executives have already, like, they've test rode it, and they say it is a wild ride. So I'm just like, this is going to be awesome. I think it could possibly contend for Disney's best roller coaster, which my current favorite is Expedition Everest over at Animal Kingdom, which I know is a very unpopular opinion because everyone was going to say Incredicoaster.
That's not my favorite at even Disneyland Resort.
Yeah,
so.
I know you like Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Where I work over at Hollywood Studios, literally like I've asked people what their favorite Disney coaster is, and majority of them have said Incredicoaster, and they look at me weird when I say Expedition Everest.
Yeah, I haven't ridden it, but I'm excited to do Expedition Everest. So.
Yeah, Garrett, since you told me you're coming down to Florida in 2022.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's happening this year, unfortunately.
2023, whatever.
Hopefully next year it would. That would be that would be good. That would be ideal.
And then also my third one would be Icebreaker, just because like I live really much closer to SeaWorld, so like I remember like as we all thought it was gonna open last year, I just kept going to the park from time to time just to check on that coaster. I remember even looking at it when I was at school. Like I would just look at it, I'm like, oh, Icebreaker update, but never got that opening date that we all thought we would get.
Yeah, I mean, hey, at least it looks like it's finally gonna open next month, so or even this month for pass holders. So yeah, that's gonna
I'm not a platinum pass holder. I'm a silver pass holder, so I'll probably be there for like the silver pass holder previews.
That should be really fun.
During that week, for like January 30th, so on, I'm probably not going to go to SeaWorld because I do not want to be jealous of all the riders that are actually riding it. I don't care if they got the Seven Seas Food Festival going on. As much as I love that event, I don't want to be jealous with people riding Icebreaker. It'd be just sitting there, just feeling like I don't mean anything.
That would be absolute pain. So.
And then like some of my other anticipated coasters would be like the Voyage at Holiday World, which I don't know if I'm ever going to go Hollywood Nights or not because all the drama that's happened.
I think they've found a way to mitigate it with the limit. I think that's what they're hoping to do, and I think it will work.
Because, I mean, I've not really gotten much drama in the coaster world. Like I usually try to look at the positives of everything. And then also we've got El Toro, Flying Dinosaur. Those are like some other coasters that I'm anticipating just in general. And of course, this is gonna make you laugh, but Steel Curtain, which you might be like, seriously, Steel Curtain? But take a look at this. Hold on.
Oh, you got something. Oh yeah, okay.
Where is that? Hold on.
I think I got an idea.
I think I left it. Dang it.
Oh no.
Hold on, this will work.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, there you go.
You don't know me.
Knew
I am
you
a
were a
huge
Ravens
fan.
fan.
So I need to go ride Steel Curtain wearing this jersey.
Oh man.
I know people are like, wait, didn't he murder someone? I don't want to get into that because
Oh boy, yeah. Oh no,
that
that's
should
fun.
be about it for that. And
Sounds
also
good.
Tron, which I know is coming over to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. Why not Air Force One? They're literally getting a Raven Trust dive.
I forgot about that. You texted me.
Yeah.
Trust dive. I'm like, oh, Lamar Jackson's gonna love. They should have themed it to the Falcons. Had 3
I
inversions,
know.
28 airtime hills. That would be perfect.
The Falcons were too bad, so they don't
Not
get
this
it.
year. They were actually pretty like.
Nah,
decent
no,
this year.
they had an easy schedule. They should have actually done worse than they did. So
We just had a tough schedule. We're injured.
Yep.
I bet tomorrow or Sunday if we lose to the Steelers, Lucan's probably gonna be throwing a celebration.
Yeah. So yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes Sunday. But what was I gonna say? Anything else you wanted to go into, or we gonna miss out?
Also, if I know you're probably backstage, you're looking at me. I'm like, Zach, what the heck are you doing? I actually got some new theme park scents: Flight of Passage, E.T. Adventure. Even got dropping them from Harry
Some
Potter,
merch.
Halloween Horror Nights.
Nice.
And I have a couple others, Pirates and Haunted Mansion, but they're not here right now. So, and then also, like, just, yeah, I mean, these things, they're accurate. Like, this is actually accurate. Like, if you've ever been on Flight of Passage, it smells so good in there. Same with E.T. Adventure. Like, it is literally accurate. I'm, like, shocked at how real it is.
That's
It's like
awesome.
a VR headset, right? Like, watching a Flight of Passage POV with the scent. It's like I'm actually there.
Wow. Some people in the chat, Kennedy Coaster, gives you a warning. Good luck getting out of Kennywood unscathed if you wear a Ravens jersey. Coaster Dash also says you can wear it on Phantom's Revenge now that it's Ravens themed. He's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually, yeah.
Yeah, because I thought I had my Lamar jersey with me, but it's my dad's, so.
Oh, well.
And maybe for Air Force One, wear the Lamar jersey. Just
Yep.
for that one element.
Yeah, that was such a, when I saw that, I'm like, wow, the name for the element. But it's great to have you on. First time I've ever talked to you, which is kind of insane that it's on stream. But
over on my Instagram, I'd also do a ton of live streams. I did one last night for my birthday. Another enthusiast came on. Then also I did a live stream on New Year's Eve with Marina, which did get hacked. So we're not going to go into that.
Rip.
But yeah, I figured it all out, so we're all good. I've solved it, everything.
All right, that's good.
And so yeah, if you guys don't subscribe, you should go ahead and subscribe to Theme Park Guy Productions when this stream ends. So like afterwards, like what are you doing? Just go ahead and subscribe. And to everyone else who's came on as well. It's like right now I'm at 456. I don't have many subscribers, but I'm always willing to grow. So yeah,
Awesome.
Like I know I don't post like a bunch of like coaster reviews. I've just been lacking recently. I've just been so busy. School, work.
Understandable.
So yeah, I think that's about it. If you guys ever spot me while I'm working at Disney World or at the parks in general, don't be afraid to say hi.
Awesome. So thank you so much for coming on, giving us a little more insight into the Florida stuff. Great to hear about. And I'll see you next time.
And I'll see you guys next time. And you're clear for dispatch. How to do the outro.
Nice. I love that. Alrighty, so huge thanks to Zach from Theme Park Guide Productions for coming on. And it looks like we are going to have our final guest of the night, Civilian Satellite. Making sure you're ready to go. Ready. And actually, if I can call you by your name, I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but if you could tell me that. Vince, got it. All right, great. So, Vince, how you doing?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
First of all, I have to say it is very unfair that I have to follow Theme Park Guy Productions. There's no way I'm going to top an intro like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, congratulations on 2,000 subscribers. You absolutely earned it.
Oh, thank you so much. It really means a lot.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So for the first thing, news reactions. Any bit of news that has come out within the last few months that has surprised or intrigued you?
So the news that came out today that Montezuma's Revenge is going down for an entire year for an upgrade. That came out of left field, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting news, at least if they do it right. I'm very interested to see what direction that they take. Obviously, we have CK Underground that underwent a similar refurbishment, and I don't know what the end result for that is, but I've heard a couple mixed things. Some people praising the longevity of extending this classic coaster's lifespan, but some people said that it sort of took away from the power and the classicness of Schwarzkopf looping coaster.
Yeah, that's my concern if they do turn it into an LSM launch. Of course, if that's the only way they can keep it around just because it's hard to get the parts or it's too expensive, then better than nothing for sure. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
And then I'm also interested to see how this will affect Laser Loop, which is currently in IB Park's possession.
Oh yeah, the Schwarzkopf shuttle loop from La Feria, correct? Yep. Yeah.
And formerly of Kennywood.
Yep.
So
pretty storied history.
Yeah. So if they do remove the flywheel launch mechanism from Montezuma's Revenge, and if a laser loop is erected, then hey, we net positive gained another Schwarzkopf launch shuttle loop and kept a flywheel launch. I'd be down for that.
Actually, yeah, that seems pretty good. So if you put it that way, it definitely makes it more like just more positive, I would say. So yeah.
And then I believe it was Gerslauer who did the refurbishment of CK Underground, and Knott's has a working relationship with Gerslauer with Hang Time. So definitely would not be surprised if this refurbishment came out of them.
Yeah, certainly. Although I do understand that Premier did, or at least was involved with the other Schwarzkopf coasters in terms of refurbishing. I believe they were one of the companies that did the one for Mindbender recently. So, and because they're in America, maybe they'll go with them. But certainly, yeah, Gerslauer could be on the table as well. But it will be interesting to see how that goes.
What do you think? Do you think they'll keep the same name and theme as before?
I think you like maybe. Although I can't imagine they would add another word to it. That'd be an absolute mouthful.
Yeah.
But I hope so, or at least they keep the Montezuma portion in it. Although I know the name has a meaning, but we'll see. I would like for them to keep the name around in some way.
Yeah. That classic sign is just a big statement. It's as much a statement as the coaster itself, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is a really cool sign, actually. One of the more memorable ones, really, I've ever seen.
Yeah. And, the timing itself is pretty sudden. January 10th, I believe, is the last day.
Yeah.
But apparently, from what I've read on Reddit, it seems like a lot of people knew that it was coming. So very interesting to see what they do over the course of 2022 on that ride.
Yeah. And then one of the weirder things about it is they said it would reopen in 2023. They didn't give a specific timeline.
Yeah.
If the Knott's Giga happens and it does open in 2023, there's a good chance I'm probably going to ride that before I ride Montezuma's Revenge again, which you told me that back in September when I last rode it. I would have thought you were crazy, but that might be a possibility, that is insane. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what they're doing with that.
There's exciting things going on at Knott's. It's a very different park now than it was even 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So that's pretty much all I had for news. Just about everything else was covered by all the other call-ins.
That's good. So then we'll move on to any potential predictions you have. Limit of 4, but any predictions for things you could see happening in the amusement industry?
Yes. One thing that I could see happen and kind of would love to happen is I can see Gravity Group's new pre-track going onto Voyage.
Yeah, certainly. The pre-cut track,
Yes.
pre-engineered. I forget what they called it, but yes.
The prefabricated, precision, super strong, super durable, very well received Gravity Group track.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And Holiday World and Gravity Group have definitely had a very interesting relationship, particularly during the development of the Gravity Craft Timberliners. Obviously, that didn't sort of
That didn't
pan
work.
out so well,
Yeah.
but hey, Holiday World is always looking to refurbish their coasters, keeping them running in as peak condition as possible. I think this new technology is what can keep aggressive rides like the Voyage going.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think when I learned the capabilities of it, I'm like, oh, there's no way they're not gonna put this on Voyage at some point. I'd have to think they would. So
Yeah.
I totally see that.
And then, if hopefully Mount Olympus is also there, just looking over their shoulder and saying, huh, that would be a pretty good idea.
Especially for them, yes.
Yeah.
They could totally use that.
Yeah, Hades 360, fantastic layout. Just rattles the heck out of you, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
From what
And-
I've heard, they could use it on a few of their coasters.
Yeah, well, actually, Zeus is running pretty good, and Cyclops got a very extensive retrack this season as
Right.
well.
Yeah, okay, I forgot about that, so take that back. But yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that this technology comes out because it sort of gives that very fine line between completely converting a wood coaster and just leveling it all together. It gives this affordable way to keep them going.
Yeah, for sure. I agree 100%.
And then my second prediction is I believe that Energylandia, after Iron Rattler at Six Flags Qiddiya is built, I think Energylandia will be the next park to buy the Coma Tilt coaster.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that one you saying it, yeah, I agree with that one totally as well.
That's presuming Iron Rattler gets off the ground in the first place.
Yep. Vekoma is taking a lot of time, it looks like, to build their prototype and get that going. For they're taking a lot of care into that, so I think they will get other customers even if that doesn't happen. But yeah, I like that prediction as well.
Yep, and then my final prediction, maybe it's outlandish, or maybe it's wishful thinking, but I think that Skyline attractions will really take off this year, at least announcement-wise. I feel like
Yes. Yeah.
really gone through they've really gone through the steps to redefine their image. They've acknowledged their past shortcomings and they're working to improve them. They've always been fantastic at marketing their products. It's just getting someone to send money their way and get a contract signed that they seem to have the difficulty with.
Yeah, and then having just literally talked to Tyler Mullins yesterday from the company, yeah, I think that is coming. If not, maybe later this year, maybe like 23 heading into 2024. I think we will see a lot, but I think probably later this year we will really see that. And I mean, yeah, Skyline I think has a really bright future. Which is probably surprising to a lot of people, but I really think you're right. They're going to redefine themselves and they'll be a big name.
Yeah, especially with their two big rides. They sort of became a joke in the online coaster community, but I always want to see a company succeed. They could make terrible coasters, or unless they're obviously copying someone else's work, but if they're putting in the legit effort to stand out and do something different, I want to see them succeed.
Yeah, and I think that like I said, just talking with Mullins, when you see the interview, you'll see it. But especially with Harley Quinn, they really did look into the mirror and really tried to focus on what they could improve. So I agree with you on that one as well. I think there's a lot of exciting stuff coming soon from them.
It's an industry of trying different things and seeing what works, and sometimes things don't work, and you just keep going at it until it does work.
Yeah, for sure. So appreciate that. And then the next thing I have, most anticipated, either new coasters coming this year, new coasters that you're riding next year, or yeah, basically that. So top 3 for any of those, whichever you want to go with.
I'm going to throw a bone to American Rear Looping at Indiana Beach. I've been very excited for that coaster. When I first learned that it was coming to America, I about freaked out my coworkers because I practically screamed. Yeah. I've done a Mindbender at Galaxyland, and it's a phenomenal Schwarzkopf looping coaster, and from all accounts, American Rear Looping is just a smaller but more insane version of that coaster.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't include it on my list because I didn't mention, but I didn't include relocations and stuff like that. But had I done that, yes, it would have been on there. Fun fact, that news broke when I was actually in Mexico. I never got to ride it. I actually I could have if I wanted to when I went to Mexico City, assuming it was open, but that was the year it had the accident. So it's probably for the best I didn't. Yeah, I could totally see that one. What are your other 2?
Next one is Iron Gwazi, of course. I do not believe that it will be as intense as Steel Vengeance. I think that it will be. I don't want to say tame because that's not how RMC rolls, but I think that I'm going to keep my expectations tempered on Iron Gwazi. I still think it'll be a fantastic coaster and a good candidate for best coaster in Florida, but yeah, it'll be a fantastic ride for sure. Yeah,
that's fair. You don't want to have your expectations too high for it, so I can respect that. And it'll be a fantastic ride regardless. So should be great. And then what's your 3rd one?
Next, I have Pantheon. Remember good old 2007 when King's Dominion was the launch coaster capital of the world? And now Busch Gardens they're going to come out with their 3rd launch coaster. They rumors of a 4th, possibly a 5th on the way. Yeah, Pantheon just seems like the best of Velocicoaster and Conda combined.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, I think. So, agree with you there. It looks so. Obviously, I had it as my number 1, but it looks so good. So, I cannot wait for it for sure.
Yeah. 2022 will be a very good year to travel across the country to ride some really good rides.
Yeah, should be. Of course, hopefully most of the rides, they won't have some of the issues that some of the ones last year had. I mean, new rides opening, yes, there's always going to be like more downtime and stuff like that. But like Stunt Pilot and Jersey Devil Coaster were pretty on and off for a good portion. And then even internationally, like Conda, I mean, that was not their fault, but it got flooded. So some rides couldn't quite break in. So, but yeah, it should be a fantastic year to go around the country riding some new rides. So, yeah.
Very exciting year.
For sure. Anything else you wanted to say before we wrap this up?
Just wanted to say thank you again for having me on. I really like all the hard work and effort that you put into your videos. It really shows in the quality.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for coming on. It was really awesome to hear about American Enduro Looping and Montezuma's Revenge, which we hadn't really talked about too much. So that was great.
My pleasure.
Alrighty. See you next time.
Have a good night.
Alrighty. See ya. Alright. So huge thanks to Vince from Civilian Satellite. Make sure to check out his channel if you haven't already. I actually do need to watch your content and haven't had the time to, but I will make sure to do that. Should have mentioned that while you were still here, but great to have you on. And that is it for the viewer call-ins. Let me know in the chat if you guys enjoyed that. That was great for me. I am a little bit tired, but so if for anyone wondering, my retention might have died a bit as I went on, but it was really fun for me to do that, for sure. But did you guys enjoy that? Let me know. I'd like to implement it for future streams as well. So, not sure how often I'm gonna do it, but yeah, that would be something I'd like to do. Next thing I have is Guess the Coaster. Probably a few rounds of this, and then yeah, we'll do Guess the Coaster, and then questions for the viewers, and then final Q&A. Because yeah, this stream might go over 3 hours, but I thought that could be a possibility because I did have a decent bit here, but it is 2,000 subscriber episode, 2,000 subscriber special, so I don't mind going over for this one. But I'm doing Guess the Coaster, and probably only a few, like probably 4 rounds, just because it is getting a little late. I mean, I'm getting a little tired. But basically, for those who haven't done this, how this works, I get a random coaster on RCDB, and you ask questions that are like kind of tips help you get there. You'll figure it out as we go along. But let me get my coaster. That one's way too easy. I wasn't going to do Ride to Happiness. That would have been pretty easy. Oof. Okay, fine. All right. Oh, well. So I have my coaster. Go for it. I guess. Although I guess now looking back, I should have done Ride to Happiness, but oh well. You can ask away. Yes or no questions only. Unless you're guessing the coaster, of course, then you can like just flat out guess, like try to guess. Hi Andre, welcome back. But yeah, ask your questions in the chat. I have my coaster. Let's see. I don't know if I'm on a little bit of a delay. I'm not seeing anything. Have not that many people in chat done Guess the Coaster yet. From previous streams, then maybe I have to explain it a little better. Is it a one-word name coaster? No. Okay, now they're coming in. It's not an Intamin, and it's not a one-word name coaster. So, although that is a good question. I haven't ever gotten that before off the top of my head, but there you go. But let's see. Any other questions coming up? I think that chat thing's having issues. It's like weird. It's doing that thing where it like loads up a bunch of things afterwards. Maybe on my end. So let's see. So we still haven't really gotten anywhere on the coaster. No, it's not one word name. It's not an Intamin. It is in the US. So yep, US coaster. That's as far as we've gotten. Man, there's not a lot of questions coming through right now. So we'll see. Hopefully more people get the idea. Is it a B&M? No, not an Aero, but it is US coaster, so US coaster is what we got. Not a Vekoma. It is a steel coaster, so US steel coaster. But yeah, there you go. It's not a Premier. Not a shuttle, not a Disney coaster, so US steel coaster is so far what we have. Let's see, not Slinky Dog Dash. Love the random guess. Whenever someone hits that, I don't think it's happened very often on here, but that's always fun. Not an Intamin. It was made after 2000, so we have a US steel coaster made after 2000. That probably doesn't narrow it down much. OK Coasters, yes, it is an RMC. So we have RMC steel coaster made after 2000 in the US. No, it's not Journey into Imagination. Coast, although that would be interesting if I could do like a dark ride one in the future. Maybe I'll keep that in mind. It is at a Six Flags park. It's not Iron Gwazi. It's not Steel Vengeance. It's not Twisted Timbers. It's not Railblazer. But yes, it's at a Six Flags park. It's not Twisted Colossus. Good guess. OK Coasters. Not Railblazer. Not Wonder Woman. All right, Zach got it first on my screen. Iron Rattler is the correct answer. That is the correct coaster. So that is the right one. So there you go. If you didn't know how to play it before this game, then hopefully you figured it out. So yeah. Ooh, I already got my next coaster. So 3 more after this. Not Joker. But I just saw all the ones are coming through. Yeah, I think they're coming in late. So weird. But I have my next coaster. So ask away your questions. That was your first time playing? Yeah, it's pretty easy to get used to it. I think even like I think Sean Flaherty even played with it with his viewers after doing the stream. It's a fun game to play. So it's a good one for streams. I mentioned him because I think they kind of figured it out as they went along, so it's pretty easy. Is it a US coaster? Yes it is. See you later, Vince. Thank you so much for coming on the stream. So, US coaster, not Nessie, but it is steel, so we have a US steel coaster. Once again, not narrowing it down much, but at least it's getting somewhere. Daddy Pig's coaster, that'd be legendary, but not quite. I'll just say this one. Actually, nah, I'm not going to say it. It's not from Intamin. It is in Ohio, though, so we have U.S. steel coaster in Ohio, not Expedition Everest. It is not Lightning Run, not Powder Keg, not Space Mountain. Ohio, U.S. steel coaster. The location is probably going to be the more important thing to try to guess. It's not Magnum XL 200. It's not Orion. Love how both Orion just came in at the same time. It's not Beast. It's not Rougarou, not Diamondback, not Banshee, not Invertigo. Also, don't use RCDB for this, please. Not Bat, not Raptor, not Gemini. Not Gatekeeper, not Dragster. Maybe asking the park would be helpful, just saying. It is not Raptor, it's not Racer. Wow, we're going down the list. Not Rougarou, not Corkscrew. Man. Not Diamondback, not Millennium Force, not Mystic Timbers. That's a wooden coaster. It's a US steel coaster. It's not Bat. It's not at Cedar Point, so that's a big one. It's at Kings Island, so yes. Probably not too many coasters you haven't guessed, but you can try. It's not Adventure Express. Let's see. Sea Dragon, not quite. Man, Zach, you got it again. Backlot Stunt Coaster is the correct answer. Also saw Flight of Fear and Vertigo. Good guesses, but Backlot Stunt Coaster is the correct answer. So, nice. 2 for 2. Now I'll get another coaster, hopefully an international one. I'd like to go with that. Always like to get in a few of those. So I'm going to try to get one of those. Let's see. No, not quite that one. I need something international. That'll work. All right. I have my next coaster. Ask away your questions. Is it in Japan? No, it is not. Is it in Europe? Nope, not in Europe. Not in Italy, not in Germany. It's not Zadra. Not Russia, not Gravity Max, not Egypt. Little Phantom, not quite. International. So all we have is it's an international coaster, but nothing else. It's not in China. It's not in Brazil. I already confirmed it wasn't in Europe. It's not in Canada. It's not in Australia. It's not Battlestar Galactica, and it's not in Asia. So, keep on trying. Interestingly, the StreamYard chat is coming up earlier for me than the actual YouTube one on the side, which is weird. Now it flip-flopped. Flying Aces, it's not Flying Aces. It's not Expedition Everest. Is it Anaconda? No. Not Formula Rosa. Coaster Capital, yes, it is in Mexico. So, yes, it's in Mexico. That probably narrows it down a lot. So let's see who gets it first. Oh my god, why? Zach, man, 3 for 3. Yes, it's Medusa Steel Coaster. Bullet and Superman El Ultimo Escape were good guesses. But yeah, Medusa Steel Coaster. Coaster Capital also got it, I just saw. So congrats to you two. And then OK Coasters was on the right track, RMC, yes. But yeah, so that's how that works. And so I'll get one more international coaster. That'll probably end it. Ooh, I like this one. All right. I have my last coaster. This one should be a fun one. International, like I said. So, like I said, this will be the last Guess the Coaster. Honestly, I'll probably just go to Q&A after this. Yeah, probably. Final Q&A. That's probably gonna be the plan. Let's see. Is it in Japan? No. Not Wood Coaster in Night Valley. Love the guess. Not in Australia. Not in. Actually, yes, it is in Germany. So it is a German coaster. Not Zadra. It's not Expedition Everest. It's not Intamin. It's not Tehran. It's not Karnan. It's not Fly. It's not Black Mamba. It's not Silver Star. It's not Blue Fire. It's not Woden. Once again, guys, do not use RCDB. But let's see. Not G-Force. Not Expedition G-Force. Ooh, it's gonna be interesting to see how long this one takes. It's not Colorado Adventure. No, it's not Arthur. It's not Sky Scream. It's not Eurosat. There might be right back. No, don't check RCDB. I said no. Does it have a soundtrack? No. Or it doesn't have an on ride. I know that much. I don't know if it maybe in the station it does. I have no idea. It's not Fluke von Novgorod. It's not Winjas. It's not Mammut. Japas isn't a coaster, but no. There are some questions that would probably help out a lot that aren't like trying to guess the coaster outright. That would probably be useful. So I'll give that out, but that's about it. Because if you're just going down the list of coasters, you might take a little bit. It's not Olympia Looping. It's not a Europa Park. It's not a steel coaster. It's not at Phantasialand. And it's not Skywheel. So it's I guess I can say it's a German wooden coaster. That's what we've gotten so far. So it is a wooden coaster in Germany that is wooden. It's not Colossus. Once again, guys, do not use RCDB. Canopy Coaster, got it. El Toro. Yes, that is it. El Toro at, oh boy, I'm going to butcher this. Freyse Park Plone in Germany. Yes, that is it. El Toro. According to RCDB, it is. Bandit. Yeah, so for those who didn't know, I figured this El Toro is a GCI wooden coaster in Germany. So yes, it is literally called El Toro. Looks like a pretty fun ride, pretty short, but it looks fun. So yeah, that was that's a fun one. Just because of the name, I'm like, yes, I'm happy I got this one. But congrats, Canopy Coaster, on doing that. And I think, do you guys want to do one more? Maybe I'll do one more, and then we'll head to Q&A. Although it is 7 my time, 10 Eastern. So, you thought GCI El Toro was in Asia? Not quite. There is a bull themed ride in bullfight in the sky or something like that in Asia, which is literally what it's called. But yeah, let's see. Do we want to do another Guess the Coaster? Chat, what do we think? One more. Cool. All right, we're gonna go for it. Okay. Let me get one. Ooh. And let's see. Man, it's seen me a little bit to get one. Come on. All right. I got my next one. Ask away. Is it in the US? No, not Canada, not Japan, not Spain. Is it antelope? Not quite. No, it's not antelope. Zadra, nope. Eventually, right? It's not in India. It's not in Poland. Not Hyperion, or Hyperion. It is in Europe. No, it's not Expedition Everest. It's not in Paris. It's not Flying Aces. It's not Australia. But so far we have European Coaster. I think that's literally it. It's not from Intamin. It is not Hyperspace Mountain. It's not Tehran. It's not Osiris. It's not Black Mamba. Not Smiler. Not in Asia. Not Ride to Happiness. It's not an Arrow. It's not Icon. It's not in the UK. All these are just loading up for me, so that's why I'm hitting them if it's confusing. It's not a Vekoma. It's not Icon. So far, like I said, we have European Coaster. I literally think that's it. Big one, no. And I said it was not in the UK, so I don't think we've established a country yet. Like I said, I think we only have European Coaster. Yes, it is in Germany, so now we have German Coaster. It's not Shambhala, it's not Roller Coaster Mayan, or whatever it's called. It's not Tutatis. It's not Furious Baco, not Red Force, not Dragon Con. It is a steel German coaster. Not Stampede, but steel German coaster. Colorado Adventure, no, not Blue Fire either. There's probably a few, once again, this is another one where probably questions that are not guessing the coaster right away would probably be the move, because it might be a little while before you get there. Not Silver Star, not at Europa Park, not Eurostat, not Expedition G-Force, not Tehran, not Black Mamba, and it's not however you pronounce that. I know what ride it is, yeah. And it's not Nemesis, not Dynamite, not Skyscream. There are a few questions, like I said, you could ask that would help out quite a bit here. It's not Olympia Looping. Although I see why y'all are scared, because the problem is, like, Zach pretty much gets it really quick once the clues are in line, so I understand the guessing. Desert Storm, no. It's not an invert, but it does invert, as in it has inversions. And it is not a Schwarzkopf. Is it nostalgia? No. I thought it said nostalgia. It's not that coaster at Skyline. I'm not even aware of what that is. It's not an Intamin. It's not an SLC. It's not Blue Fire. Man, it's not Colossus. The 10 inversion Colossus is actually in the UK, so not that one. Arthur? Nope. That's also in the UK. Man, this one taking a little bit. Man, and I'm hungry. Let's see. Fluke von Novgorod, not quite. Like I said, there's some questions that you might want to ask. SpongeBob's Wild Ride. No. Skywheel, not Karnan. I think that was guessed way earlier. That would be so funny if no one had guessed that up to this point. Yeah, I guess the coaster. Hop in. So far we have German Steel Coaster. I think that's it. So, oh yeah, and it has inversions. So, German Steel Coaster with inversions. It's not Nessie. Kitty Coaster. It has inversions. Does Fantasia Land actually have a dedicated kiddie coaster? I can't remember if they do or not. Carajo? Nope. Not the Smiler. It is from B&M. So, yeah. McLovin's Goated Roller Coaster, not quite. But B&M coaster in Germany with inversions. So, yeah. It's not Fly. Man, this one's really, really stumping. Y'all, I guess, to be fair, it's not the first. I guess it's far from the first coaster I'd think of from Germany, so I get it. Man, it's not Kumba. It's not I know what ride I think you're talking about, but no. Daemonen. Well, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna give it to both Stamford Bridge and Coaster Capital. It is Flug. They're Daemonen. I would have taken Flug or Daemonen, whatever. Flight of Demons is also the translation, so I will accept that as well. But yes, that is the correct coaster. So there you go. That's the last. That'll be the last of them. A bit difficult for those who don't necessarily know your international coasters, but there you go. Flug der Dämonen is a B&M wing coaster at Heidi Park, the same park that has Colossus, the Intamin prefab. So, for those who didn't know, that is that coaster. SpongeBob's Wild Ride was better. I didn't get that on RCDB, sadly, so couldn't do it. I'll bring Guess the Coaster hopefully back for the next stream, I do with a guest, because I know that I didn't have it the last time, but it is getting over 3 hours, so I'm gonna end this off with end of stream Q&A. Any final questions you have? You guys really want one more, don't you? Fine, we'll do one more. Sure, why not? It's a 2K stream. All right, you guys have convinced me. We'll do one more, but this is really the last one, and I'll at least make this one not international. So, there you go. All right, I have my coaster. Start asking away. It's not international for anyone who lives in the U.S., so we already have a U.S. coaster. If you live outside the U.S., then it is. But yeah. So, yes, U.S. coaster. It's not wooden, so U.S. steel coaster. It's not roller skater. It's not time traveler. But U.S. steel coaster. It's not defunct. It still exists. It's not T3. Let's see. Velocicoaster? No. Not Velocicoaster. It's not on the West Coast. Usually we don't get coasters I've ridden on here. We did somehow today, so that's something. It's not Storm Chaser. It was not built after 2000. It's not in California, so far we have U.S. Steel Coaster, born before 2000, if you want to say that. Matterhorn bobsleds, no. It's not at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It's not Expedition Everest. It's not Kumba. Yes, it is East Coast. Yes. The state it's in does touch the ocean. So yes. So U.S. Steel Coaster on the East Coast, not Loch Ness Monster, not Space Mountain, not Hulk, not Backlot Stunt Coaster, not Scorpion, not Arrow, not Anaconda, not Montu. Holy cow, they're really coming in. Not King's Dominion, not Batwing, not Afterburn. It is a B&M. So B&M on the East Coast. Yeah. Fury 325, Intimidator, no. Boomerang, Dueling Dragons, no, none of them. Not Rolling Thunder. So B&M on the East Coast, not Python. Holy frick, Zach, how? Yes, it is Vortex at Carowinds. I mean, I know you're rattling them off, but still. I mean, that's impressive. Vortex at Carowinds is the correct answer. That was the final coaster. That will really be the end of it. I know you want more, but I have to end this at some point. So that'll bring us to the end of stream Q&A. I do just basically before you ask your questions, or you can ask them just for the chat. Who would you like to see as a guest for Coaster Time or for an interview series? If you have anyone you want to mention, you can throw it in the chat. Just because I like to have suggestions. Always good to have them. But yeah. That was short, maybe one more. I think we do 6 in total? 5 or 6? Not as much as usual, but I don't have a guest, and it was already kind of late, so Tom Hanks. Yeah, well, oh man. Yeah. But there you go, and like I said, any last questions you have, you can go into them. I'm not gonna react to names mentioned in chat necessarily, especially if they're legit, because I don't want to promise anything before it happens, but appreciate the suggestions for sure. But yeah. Man, Ron McKenzie. If that were to happen, probably a little bit later, because I mean, now with the news of him no longer being the Over Texas president, got to process all that. But like I said, I hope wherever he goes, he gets another opportunity. I'm sure he'll do great wherever he goes. That was surprising news, for sure. Yeah, like I said, any last questions you have, ask him now. And if we don't have any more, then that'll pretty much wrap it up. Although I do see that you guys are still putting in suggestions. But yeah, so, and definitely I kind of have a list, so yeah. So that'll be that. I guess I'll say for the interviews, in terms of not Coaster Time, but the actual interviews I'm doing. If you haven't seen the one I did with Janine from Adventureland, I'd highly recommend it. We talk about Fireball and the park itself. I just did one with Tyra Mullins and talking about Skyline attractions, the Titan track, their compact steel coasters, Piscetti Bowl, and a lot more. So that'll be releasing hopefully next week. And then there's a few that I won't mention quite yet, like who's coming on. Some things are still getting finalized. I'll actually look at my email if anything new came up. Yeah, there's some stuff that are getting finalized for other interviewees, which is awesome. So plenty more to come. Favorite Fresno theme park? You know what? I do have a favorite because it's the only one I've been to. Storyland. It doesn't have any coasters. Playland next to it does, but I don't believe I've actually been there. It has a train and some theming. That's it. It was more a place that like when I was younger, people would have like birthday parties at. For sure. Let's see. Favorite Texas park. I have never been, but if I'm going off like the one that if I could teleport there, which one I would want to visit most if I had the option to only go to one at that specific moment, Fiesta Texas would probably be my number one pick. Thoughts on Yo Gabba Gabba? I forgot about that show for a hot second. That's the one I'm thinking of, right? Okay, yeah, I just looked it up. Yes, it's the one I'm thinking of. I didn't watch it when I was a little kid that much. I think I watched a teeny bit. I mean, I wish I watched a more pretty legendary show. But I did not watch that much, so I'm the wrong person to ask, sadly, on that. But legendary show. For you, best park, Fiesta Texas. Best coaster, Boardwalk Bullet. Yeah. Boardwalk Bullet. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if I would say it's my most anticipated anymore. Iron Rattler might have to be that one, but it's up there for me for sure. But more and more I look at Iron Rattler, the more and more it kind of grows on me. So that's what I'll say about that. But let's see. Any other questions you have? Like I said, last chance. I'll probably end this at 7:20 my time, 10:20 Eastern time, and whatever that applies to in any other time zone. Thoughts on Theme Park HQ's supposed return? I know he's been busy, but I mean, I would like to see more content, like legitimately. So I think it's a good thing if it is able to work out. Obviously, former guest of the stream, 1.5 times, I'll say. But no, I would like to see him do some more stuff. It's been a while, but I'd like a return. Hopefully that works out. Let's see. Thoughts on people that use RCDB during Guess the Coaster. Y'all make it no fun. But I mean, I of course I say I don't want people to use it. I can't really stop you if you do. But like it's just nicer if you don't. But yeah. Thoughts on Antonio Brown? I'm an NFL fan for those who don't know, so you know, I think if he didn't do the podcast thing he did earlier, I mean, and his reaction was a little overblown, I think he kind of had I think he kind of was winning that battle because he legitimately was injured, it sounded like. So, my friend group, we were talking about him. Very, very interesting career for sure for anyone who's ever followed it. I actually thought he was actually going to get a chance, potentially, if, like, this whole injury thing worked out. But the whole podcast thing, yeah, no, I think he's done. So, yeah. Thoughts on OK Coasters no longer featuring his son in his intros. Wasn't aware of that, huh? Encanto reference. I actually like that movie. I know I was on the Costa Marina stream and people were saying it wasn't good. I liked it. I actually like that movie and that song slaps. Even though I don't usually like the songs in Disney musicals, that one was actually like really good. So I like that movie quite a bit. Thoughts on Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I don't mind that if the questions are not coaster related. So. Okay, that movie sucked. The animated one, good God. Don't watch it. If you haven't watched the live action ones, I'll just direct you to that. Except for Long Haul, don't watch that either. But I enjoyed the live action movies. I read the books, so I like those. I actually prefer the movies, but you know, and the animated one's awful. It like actually sucks. That was you in the intro. I was kind of confused as what he was referring to, but yeah, that makes sense. Thought on Kite Tails and Animal Kingdom. I've seen the fails. That show looks really dumb and cheap. I mean, whoever can have fun watching it, great. I mean, it's kind of funny, but yeah. Thoughts on Marvel movies in general? I did really like the new Spider-Man movie that came out. I don't necessarily think it's like the greatest movie ever made, or even my favorite MCU movie, but I do generally like them quite a bit. I'm not like a super fan though. Dog Days is best movie. I don't know that I'd agree with that, but I can see that. Favorite ethnic cuisine? Ooh. That is a tough one because I think it depends on the mood, but I like Mexican, Chinese, and I don't know if this quite counts, but Mediterranean food too. I think those would be my top three. Not in that specific order necessarily. Oh, and Japanese food too, but I don't like sushi, which otherwise I like that as well. So I think that'd be like my top four. I'm probably forgetting something, but I'm not a big Italian fan. I should say that. Like I like some stuff, but that's why that's not on there, because I imagine that probably is a popular one, and not for me necessarily. I love Book of Boba so far. I hope they don't like. I like the flashbacks. I just hope they don't kind of overdo it for the rest of the season. But I really like it so far. I guess I'm going till 7:25 now. I like the questions. I like it. I like it when we get stuff that's not necessarily just all about coasters. Let's see. Favorite Star Wars movie. I'm gonna go with Empire Strikes Back. Basic answer, but yeah, I'm gonna go with it. If you want my least favorite, honestly, that one's pretty difficult. I think I'd have to. I mean, I know that wasn't the question, but I'd have to think about that one. Let's see. Favorite dessert. I'm not like necessarily that big of a formal dessert person. Like, I mean, I like milkshakes, I like candy, but that isn't really considered dessert, I don't think. I honestly couldn't give a good answer off the top of my head for that one. That one's actually like I wouldn't even know, because I don't necessarily like donuts that much, cake, and I know there's like more specific ones, but like I can't honestly. I think like if sweet crepes count, I like those. I mean, for whatever that's worth. I like Rogue One. Solo's your least favorite? I think it's fun. No, Solo's fun. I like Solo. I actually like that. I think for me, my least favorites are between Attack of the Clones, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. I couldn't pick one from those three right now, but yeah. He asked favorite desert. What? I guess I've been in Mojave. So that would be my favorite. But yeah, I wish I've ridden Iron Gwazi. I wish I wish I could have. I wish I had been to Florida already, but I haven't yet. So yeah, I haven't. That I wish. All right, so 7:24. Any last questions come in the final minute, and if not, then I'm gonna wrap up the stream. Awesome to do this at this point. I am what I mentioned viewer call-ins earlier. I know someone just checked in, Jackson Phil. That's pretty much over at this point. So that time's already passed. So yeah. So for viewer call-ins, that's pretty much done. So yeah. But anyways, actually I think that was like a hack or something. I'm not sure what that was. But anyways, yeah, so thank you so much for checking out the stream. And let's see. Thank you so much for 2000 for the congrats. I really appreciate it. Oh, one last question. I'm forced to sing karaoke. What's my song pick? Oof. I cannot sing worth anything. So something ridiculously simple. I mean, it probably doesn't count, but Duck Song's the only thing that comes to my head. So sure, I can at least execute it. So I'm gonna go with that one. So that is pretty much that. That's gonna wrap up the stream. Sorry, Hang Time Trolls, I saw you just came in, and I'm wrapping up the stream. But thank you so much for everyone who is watching, and I will see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See ya.